Yes. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports, the Allen Stiles Show, taking you up to 2 p.m. Kyle Ledbetter is back with us behind the glass as we talk all things Sacramento Kings on a 7-game winning streak. They are a top 5 defense right now. They are really close to getting back into that playoff race, not just the play-in, the playoff race. They beat down the champs. Let us not forget, on that beautiful Friday, they beat down the champs. We're to the point now, then they get another game, another win last night. We are to the point now where this is no longer just the new coach bounce, as some people were talking about. This is not new coach bounce anymore, just playing hard because it's a new coach and it's gonna fade away. This is not just new coach bounce. This is not just a little cute winning streak anymore. This is legit. This is legit now. At the beginning, some of these injured teams that they were beating, okay, well, what are we supposed to do with this? You go into Boston, and Jason Tatum can call it a trap game. I don't think he was trying to be disrespectful. He can call it a trap game if he wants. That's fine. But you got beat down. You got the beats put on you. And there was nothing you could do about it. I had to check the box score. I'm not kidding. I had to check the box score to make sure that Jason Tatum didn't miss any time. That's how Keegan Murray made him invisible. Devin Carter with the homecoming, signing autographs like a rock star. You want to know how you find out if somebody's a gamer or not? Put him in the Lions Den with the champ and see what he does. Devin Carter balled out. Devin Carter was not afraid of the moment. This is what we've been looking for with the Sacramento Kings. No De'Aaron Fox. No De'Aaron Fox. Again, I don't think Jason Tatum was trying to be disrespectful. The Celtics, they got to iron some stuff out. They check a lot of threes. We know they're incredibly talented. Jaylen Brown, it looked bad at the beginning. Jaylen Brown backing down Keon Ellis. But Doug Christie made an adjustment. Then you have the game yesterday. The Bulls, yeah, they were missing Kobe White, a couple guys, sure. But the Kings didn't allow the letdown to happen. The craziest thing about this winning streak is that it doesn't even fully make sense at all times. Sometimes you have their star that's going off, and you allow that, but you turn the faucet off on something else. Sometimes you have the Kings missing somebody. Their bench still could be better. Could still be better. But they're winning basketball games. They continue to win basketball games. This is going further than the X's and O's. This is further than the stat sheet on my Kyle Draper. Give me this. I don't need this. It's more than the stat sheet right now. They're just finding ways to win basketball games. That's what last night was. That's what yesterday was. Figuring out a way to win a basketball game. It's not always going to look like what it looked like with the Celtics. Celtics missed 33s. We talked to Jared Weiss, who covers the Celtics, last week of The Athletic. I said, how do the Kings win? Get the Celtics to miss threes, and a lot of them. Well, that's what they did. Keegan Murray's resurgence. DeMar DeRozan picking up the slack. DeMar DeRozan will be silent for 2-3 quarters. But he is there. What did Mark Jones used to say with Harrison Barnes? He's not always there when you need him, but he's there but he's always on time. That's actually DeMar DeRozan. You might forget that DeMar DeRozan is that dude for majority of the game. He's missing shots. He's pump faking. Oh, my goodness, what's going on? And then when it's money time, DeMar DeRozan takes care of business. You know what I'm really glad? I'm really glad that the Kings won yesterday, specifically because I did not want to have to do are the Kings better without De'Aaron thing. I know somebody is still probably going to chime in and say that, 916-339-1140, but at least they don't have a loss to go with it. At least you have to just inherently feel that way. You can't say, see, De'Aaron comes back and they lose. They lose to the Bulls. Didn't happen. De'Aaron Fox comes back. They continue to roll. That shows that this team is flexible, is dynamic, is continuing to win in different ways. The expectations, this is what's going to happen now. We've been on this roller coaster before. So what we've seen with this team, and again, we love what we're seeing, but what we've seen with this team is the urgency. When they have urgency, when their backs are up against the wall, when it's fight or flight, you see the best version of the Kings. Now, we haven't seen this before, 7-game winning streak, but we've seen the Kings play better. But as they continue to creep, a game and a half out of the 6th seed, as they continue to creep up, now they don't have a losing record anymore. This is where I want to, is this going to have to come from Doug Christie? Is this going to come from inside of them? How do they continue to create this urgency? Because here's the craziest thing. There should still be urgency. Nobody wants to be in the play-in. Nobody wants to have to be worried about the 8 teams trying to get the 6th seed. But what we've seen with this team is they start to feel better about themselves, and they don't have that same urgency. Can they continue? Can they continue to create that urgency as they find themselves in a better situation in the standings? You start looking at the standings. Hey, we can get that 6th seed. No, bump that. See if you can get that 4 seed. See if you can get that 5 seed. Can they create that? It feels like Doug Christie is moving in that direction. That's what it feels like. But we will see now as the Kings are back with a winning record for the first time in a very, very long time. You have the Bucks. You got to take care of business in Milwaukee, of course. That's going to be, again, another game where you shouldn't have to create that urgency. You got Giannis. You got Dame. Elite point guard, one of the best players in the league in Giannis. You don't have to create that urgency. The Kings will be ready to play. You do have an opportunity now, though, to sweep the road trip. And we sat here, and I don't think anybody saw 3-0 coming, right? We had the round table, and I said, hey, what do you guys think is going to happen? I'm looking at, I believe Brendan said 1-2. Frankie said 2-1. I said 2-1. I believe that's how that worked out. And now we're staring at 3-0 in the face. Can they do it and not feel complacent? Because here's the thing now. Everybody knows this has already been a successful road trip. And you do have Giannis. But everybody knows this has been a successful road trip. So do they go into Milwaukee thinking we already got our 2 wins on the road? We don't necessarily have to sweep. Nobody thought we were going to be 2-1 or 2-0 at this point in the road trip. Nobody thought we were going to beat the Celtics. Are they just happy with what they've done? And look, the Bucks, they're the 6th seed in the East right now. I'm looking at it right here, 20-17. Okay, is it the same? I know it's Giannis and Dame, but can you get up the same way you would get up if you were playing a Knicks or a Celtics or the Cavs? Can they get up the same way? That's what I'm excited to see tomorrow night. They continue to show us this is a new version of the Sacramento Kings. The Smackramento Kings. That's almost what I was going to say. With the smelling salts and everything that's been different these days. Can they create that urgency tomorrow? That's what we need to see. By the way, Doug Christie was on these airwaves on the morning show. If you missed that, we will replay it for you at 1 o'clock. And, of course, you can check it out on YouTube and on the Sacktown Sports app. So if you missed it in the morning, don't worry. We got you this afternoon. We will replay that at 1 o'clock. And just great stuff from Doug Christie. You know, Dave and Jason always do a great job with their interviews. So you do not want to miss that if you weren't able to check it out. 916-339-1140. I do believe we're going to open up the phone lines a little bit early today, simply because why not? Why not? The Kings are on a 7-game winning streak, and we want to hear from you because I got into it with some people, and we're going to talk about this throughout the show. We're going to break down what the Kings have done so far and where they can improve. So, you know what? I pride myself on being somebody that believes that they know ball. And when it comes to Trey Lyles, I need to put some respect on his name. I will break down what happened. I will break down what I saw. So I asked Kyle kindly to pull some of these Trey Lyles numbers, and I was shocked. I was shocked what I saw from these numbers from Trey Lyles on this win streak. I was a victim of not knowing ball in that moment. So we will have that conversation. We'll talk Kings and Bulls. We will discuss the Kings finally getting healthy. Speaking of Doug Christie, DeMar showed the team Doug Christie's highlights from when he was balling. So we have that sound from DeMar. We will hear from Coach Christie and what he had to say after that Bulls game and after that Celtics game. How could I forget Domantas Sabonis, 28 rebounds. 28 rebounds. We sat here and we said, you can bench press Porzingis. Can you make it hurt on the offensive end? Can you make the Celtics have to defend you, Domantas Sabonis? If they try to put Al Horford on you, what's left of Al Horford? No disrespect. Can you make it hurt, Domas? And boy, did he ever. 4 hours ago, we got some NFL towards the end of the show as well because those playoffs, they were okay. It's football, right? Just like pizza. Bulls, Kings, notes coming up next. Allen Stiles Show, Sacramento Sports.
Time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
This is Monster Jam. Witness big air, two-wheel skills, backflips, and all-out racing. It's the only place to see the world's best drivers tear up the dirt in your favorite Monster Jam trucks like Gravedigger, El Toro Loco, Megalodon, and more. It's big-time fun for the whole family. Monster Jam, as big as it gets. Coming to Golden One Center January 24th through 26th. Brought to you by BKT Tires. Tickets on sale now at monsterjam.com.
For a precision-crafted performance, the decision is easy. A new Acura from Acura of Stockton. Get the driving experience you've been waiting for in a new Acura. Get the best selection and customer service you deserve from Acura of Stockton. Shop in person or use our online express store at AcuraofStockton.com. Acura of Stockton will buy your trade, even if you don't buy from us. Don't settle for less than precision-crafted performance of a new Acura from Acura of Stockton and AcuraofStockton.com.
Our Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
Got to give a shout out. I was going through the show on Friday, and I'm trying to make sure I get their name right. This is from Friday, and Kyle is running around doing a bunch of stuff already. But basically, and Kyle, yeah, you weren't in on Friday, but basically there was somebody who texted in, and what they had to say was they called it, right? They called the Celtics getting beat down by the Kings by 10. And honestly, I read it out loud and I did not believe it. So this is from it might be our guy, it might be pool guy Mark possibly.
Jeff is our pool boy.
Pool boy Jeff. So this is from Good Vibes Pool Service.
Or no, wait. Mark was the pool boy. Jeff was at the grocery store.
Sorry, we have another. This is another pool service. A lot of pool people in our chat and our listeners. This is from Gino, aka G Money. So Gino sent this text in on Friday, and he says, "Child, please. Kings will win by 10 points today. Easy work, son. Putting my name on it, Gino, a.k.a. G-Money." Well, I read that out loud on the show, and I said, G-Money, and a quote, I said, G-Money, don't let your purple lens affect your wallet, brother. Don't let that happen. Well, I stand corrected. And G-Money took a screenshot of the text and found me on social media. So I just want to, before we move forward, give a shout out to G Money who called it.
You need to capitulate a little bit.
He called it. And the Celtics, man, I mean, that was a beatdown. That was a beatdown. We're about to get into Kings Bulls, but that was the one time, or one of the very few times. I love doing this job. Don't get me wrong. I'm very lucky to do this and get paid to do it. But that was one of the rare times I was almost upset it was Friday. I really wanted to come in the next day and do a show after that Celtics win, because I just think everybody would have just been as in awe as I was. What we were watching in that moment, and you're just thinking, all right, at what point are the Celtics going to turn it on? And they just didn't. They couldn't. They couldn't do it. They wanted to. Jason Tatum, I remember listening on the broadcast, and okay, this is where Jason Tatum's going to try to turn it on a little bit, but they just didn't have it. And I don't even want to say didn't have it, because that doesn't give enough credit to the Kings. Because I do think in these situations, when you start calling something a trap game, and that's what I said, how Jason Tatum, and I'm not trying to hate, and I don't necessarily think he was going to hate or try to hate, how is this a trap game? How is it a trap game when you just played the Nuggets, okay? That was on Tuesday. You fly back to play the Kings at home on Friday, and then you have the Pelicans on Sunday. There was no back-to-back. You weren't on the road. Is it a trap game because there was no De'Aaron Fox? I don't know. Your next game, again, talking about trap game, your next game was against the Pelicans, then the Raptors. So it's not like, oh, we were looking forward to OKC, or, oh, we were looking forward to the Knicks. The Kings are the best team that you've played. I would say the Kings are better than the Nuggets without Jokic playing. The Kings are the best team you've played since January 5th when you lost to the Thunder. So I don't really know how that was a trap game. I think the Celtics are looking for answers. They barely beat the Pelicans. Now, that Pelicans team, they're getting healthy. DeJounte Murray's back. I know they're dealing with the Zion Williamson thing, but they only beat the Pelicans by 1. So maybe there's something going on in Boston. Okay? Don't really care. This is more about the Kings and what the Kings did to take care of business. So shout out to Gino, aka G Money, calling the Kings beating the Celtics and beating them handily. That was just impressive without De'Aaron Fox.
And it was tied going into the fourth quarter. Devin Carter was the one who had the 8-point run to start the quarter. Like, it was just so fun, because there's only been 3 or 4 times that I can remember watching a game where not only the Kings just, at the end of the game, you kind of have it in the back of your mind like, oh, it's going to go right down to the wire. Only a few times is there a situation where I go into the fourth quarter feeling like this is where the Kings are going to get blown out, and they're the one doing the blowing out. The one I remember most was Game 6 against the Warriors a few years ago, where they just blew them away going into the second half. But it wasn't just a win, it was a beatdown, and that's why it feels like they can beat anyone in the league at this point.
Right now they can. And, the text line is already on fire. Pool guy Mark is listening. He says, love it. He says it was not him. That's right. It was Gino G Money. He called Devin Carter being a dog, and Devin Carter was a dog. He knew that he had a bunch of, Friar fans in the stands. His coach is there.
Blessing me with his body.
Yes, he did, Devin. Yes, he did. And look, I'm on record. We've all talked about it. I do think it's a good thing. Devin is very open about the way he shoots, and we all know that it doesn't necessarily look typical, what you would normally see, but that thing going in right now, and that's all that really matters. And the way he rebounds the basketball, the way he gets after it, I like what I'm seeing. He gets to the cup. He's not just shooting threes, 3-and-D guy. He can get to the cup a little bit, and he's just getting started. I'm upset that we couldn't see this all season long, but better late than never, and we are very happy with what we're seeing from one Devin Carter. Yeah, the 916 is asking, do we still make a trade if they keep winning? That's ultimately what we're going to get into throughout the duration of the show, because I'm going back and forth with people about Trey Lyles, and I'm hearing Trey Lyles is pivotal. Trey Lyles is a pivotal piece. okay, well, if Trey Lyles is a pivotal piece, and I'm not saying he isn't, but if Trey Lyles is a pivotal piece, then I just don't think some of y'all want to make a move anymore, which is fine. You don't have to. But if the only person people are okay with moving is Kevin Huerter, then the Kings are not making a move. That or not a move that is going to, it ain't going to be Cam Johnson. I'll tell you that much. If you don't want to give up picks, you don't want to give up Devin Carter, you don't want to give up Trey Lyles because he's been playing well, then, and you don't have to, by the way. You don't have to make, if you believe in this team, do you believe? That's the question, right? Do you believe? I think I sat here and I said, if the Kings beat the Celtics with no De'Aaron Fox, I am willing to have a conversation about not making a move. Not to say that I don't think that they need to make a move, but I'm willing to have that conversation. Well, we're here. It's 10/21. It's January 13th. And the Kings not only beat the Celtics, but they also beat the Bulls. So I will have that conversation. I'm not saying that the Kings don't have to make a move, but I'm willing to listen to it. I'm willing to entertain a world where the Kings don't make a move. Do I like that world? I don't know.
I think you might be speaking a different tone come February 6th and the deadline passes and they make no trades. I don't think you're going to come out of that show being like, well, continuity and all that stuff.
But it depends, right? What they're not going to be undefeated this whole time, but if they keep winning and they're the 4 seed and their record is just ridiculous from this moment, from the moment Coach Christie took over, how can you do something? How can you do something? You can't do it's crazy. You cannot make a move right now until they lose. You can't. You can't, Kyle.
I said the same thing during the 6-game losing streak, so I feel like I should say the same thing now. Is like you can make a move anytime you want. You can also not make a move anytime you want. You're not beholden to the whims of 2 games because any trade they make is so much bigger than 2 games, right? If you trade for Cam Johnson, that's a move you make for 200 games, not 2 games. So any win streak or losing streak, or they lost this game, therefore we now have to make this move is far too short-sighted, and I think Monty kind of recognizes that. So I feel like it's only fair that I said on the 6-game losing streak, they don't have to make a move. I feel like I should say now, they don't have to make a move.
They don't. Let's get to that call line on the other side. We have some notes from Kings, Bulls. Really, really nice thing that the Bulls did for DeMar DeRozan while he was out there. Allen Stiles Show, Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
When an overwhelmed injury victim calls Ashton or Price, we immediately remove their legal burden and introduce them to the very best medical care in the region. They focus on their health, and we handle all the rest. When they reach the end of their medical journey and are reunited with happiness and hope, we unleash our decades of legal experience to obtain maximum compensation. We are real, local, experienced litigators and snappy dressers, too. The consultation's free, and there's never a fee until we win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Thunder, feel the thunder.
It ignites something inside of you.
Lightning and the thunder.
Sets alight an elevated state of being. Days are pure exhilaration. And the nights, they're simply electric. See it, hear it, feel it.
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found.
Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just one dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist. I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Two-man stack here of Levine and Vucevic at the right elbow. After Williams and Lonzo Ball on the other side, they all break in different directions. And a 5-second violation has been called, and the Kings will get the ball back.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
Just an insane situation from the Bulls there to end the game. 5-second violation. And we've seen, the Kings, I don't know how much that is, the Kings forcing something versus the brain farts, right? Because in that Heat game, remember, I can't remember if it was the first or second overtime or it was really late in the game, but you had Tyler Hero with an 8-second violation. Just mind-boggling things, and I'm going to credit at least some of that to what the Kings are doing. I don't know how much I should give to the Kings, but I'm give some of it to the Kings. I'll tell you that much. So the Kings continue to take care of business on the road. They are 2-0 on this road trip. They are healthy, fully healthy for the first time this season, and everybody is now wondering, how do you make a move? What move can you make? Yes, there is the Kevin Huerter conversation, which that is the one guy I don't know if a lot of fans will fight moving him right at this point in time, but you can't just move. You're not just moving Kevin Huerter to get something done. Now, maybe you feel like, hey, Allen, I don't need to pay the high price of Cam Johnson anymore. I don't think the Kings need to do that. We continue to see Valanciunas conversations. I just keep trying to tell y'all, Valanciunas is not coming here to sit on the bench. So if you want to have the Domantas Sabonis 4 conversation, we can have that conversation. Valanciunas can shoot the basketball, but he's not going to come here and back up Domantas Sabonis. That's just not happening. So, and based on that, whatever his price tag is to trade for him, you're not going to want to pay that price tag to sit him on the bench. I'm not saying he has to come off the bench, but just from some of the names that we keep hearing, everybody, yes, the Kings do need to get bigger. That's why the Robert Williams thing was always a bit interesting to me. But these price tags have to start dropping. And I just don't see how the Kings can do anything until they actually lose a basketball game. And who knows when that's going to be. Let's get to the phone lines, 916-339-1140. Got some of our faves on the phone today, Brandon, TC, and Rob from Rancho. Let's start with Brandon. What's up, Brandon? Happy Monday. What you got for us?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey.
What a season. I mean, this is why I think we're diehard fans, right? Because when you're a Kings fan, when it's bad, it's so bad, but when it's good, it's great. You know what I mean? So I'll roll with the punches. I just want to touch on a few things real quick and let you guys go. I don't know if you guys have seen, but I've been super impressed with Keon Ellis' defense. I mean, his analytics are off the charts. He's in danger, though, of being ineligible for all defense if he misses one more game. So it just sucks that Mike Brown gave him those DNPs, and every time you play under 20 minutes, it actually counts as a game you didn't play. So he's one game away from not being able to get that. I think it's a shame. But the last thing I wanted to say real quick is I don't know if a trade is going to be that easy anymore, because I feel like teams are watching. They're going to want Devin Carter or Keon Ellis, and just finally having guys that we've brought up ourselves. And I mean, you got to hand it to Monty. The things he's done bad, but Keon's been great, and Devin Carter looks like a great pick. Low contracts. It's going to be hard to give up one of those guys. So I don't know if it's worth it in your guys' opinion. Allen, have you been on some sports teams when you're cooking like this and you got good team chemistry? can making a trade, could that ruin that chemistry? Is it worth it?
Yeah, that's a great point, Brandon. Thanks for the call, and great note on the Keon Ellis thing. I remember that from Jonathan Kuminga had a weird situation last season with the most improved player, and he got snubbed out of it. And it was a similar situation with the minutes and the lack of minutes that he played, turning into basically DNP. So great shout there, Brandon, and hopefully Keon will get an opportunity next season if it doesn't work out from this season because of the amount of time that he has missed, no fault of his own. As far as the making the move conversation, look, one thing you remember from when you were an adolescent was that growth spurt that you had, right? And sometimes when you have that growth spurt, it hurts. Your knees hurt, your feet hurt, you're just in pain a little bit. And then you come back from the summer and I'm 3 inches taller than I was. I was in the middle of a growth spurt. That's the thing about growing. Sometimes it's going to hurt. And with the Sacramento Kings right now, if you want to grow and if you want to improve or settle in a better situation than you're at right now, it's going to hurt. Could hurt in the form of draft capital, could hurt in the form of a young player, could hurt in the form of a current player. But if you feel like you need to make a move in order to grow, that growth spurt is going to hurt. That's just how it typically goes. So whether it's Keon Ellis, Devin Carter, whoever it is, again, you don't have to make a move, but then I'm going to sit here. If things go left for the Kings, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to do a show in the summer. And what everybody going to say? Why didn't Monty do something? This is interesting because it really reminds me of where we were at after the Beam Team season. So I've gone back and forth with some callers and listeners, all in good spirits, don't get me wrong. But all the conversations that we had about, it was the Beam Team and you kind of had to run it back because you broke the drought. This is a version of that right now. A microcosm, a smaller version of it, because you have a Kings team on a 7-game winning streak. How can you mess anything up? I'm not even saying I would. I don't know what to do. Brandon asked a question when I was on a team that's cooking. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't touch anything. That's why I didn't even want to touch the starting lineup when De'Aaron Fox came back. Then you have to ask the question, not that it's fool's gold, but are you looking at this team based on how they're playing right now or how the roster is constructed? We've gone from this team. This is the most frustrating thing about the Sacramento Kings. And I'm not trying to give a pass to Monty McNair per se, but we've gone from this team completely underperforming as the roster is constructed to now you could probably make the argument that they're overperforming. So Monty McNair is trying to make a move, but we don't actually know who the Sacramento Kings are. So he can't make a move right now. I mean, he can, but if he makes a move, let's say he makes a move, and I don't know if you've been following, but Dennis Schroeder was absolutely cooking on the Nets. Cooking. No expectations. It's an AAU game. Just go out there and get your numbers. He goes to the Warriors. Warriors didn't give up a ton because it's an expiring contract. He goes to the Warriors, and he's been booty. He has not been good. Not been good at all. Warrior fans want him out of there. Now, the Warriors weren't rolling. They lost DeAnthony Melton, so a bit of a different situation. But you don't just transfer somebody's numbers that they're playing on a certain team with no expectations to your team. That's not how it works. This is not NBA 2K. So Monty goes out, makes a move right now. Let's say it's Devin Carter, and this is a guy who, Cam Johnson, we looked up last week. He has never played more than 66 games in his career. He's 28 years old. So let's say Monty does the deal finally. Devin Carter, Kevin Huerter, Trey Lyles for Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson comes in. Let's say he gets dinged up. Let's say he doesn't even get dinged up. He just returns back to reality a little bit. Oh, y'all would want Monty McNair out the paint. How can you make a move during a 7-game winning? How could you do this, Monty? You ruined everything. So I'm not trying to give him a pass. I just don't know what you do now. You have a team that is underperformed. greatly underperformed. Now you have a team that is greatly, I wouldn't say greatly, but they've overperformed now. There's a 7-game winning streak. Will the real Sacramento Kings please stand up? That's what we're trying to see right now. 916-339-1140. Let's get to some of these calls. TC wants to be part of the conversation. What's up, TC? What you got for us?
Allen, what's up, man? Hey, I try to tell y'all, man, it's special, man. I told you this season was going to be more special than Bean Team.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
It's going to be up there, man. Hey, Kings fans, hey, keep striving up for the ride, man. Support Doug and love on Doug, man, for sure, man, and this team, man, because I'm telling you, we got something brewing right now. Special. Check it out. The only move right now, I'm going to be honest with you, bro, I'm not trading Devin Carter for Cam Johnson. Only way we get Cam Johnson is if we get Cam Johnson on the steal. And that's on, like, swapping Kevin Huerter and, like, a pick or something. If we can't get him then, bro, I'm cool. Because at the end of the day, if we get him, where's his shots coming from? Who's going to the bench? We're going to be in the same pickle. I know it's about cheating out. Well, no, bro. Because how we jamming, Cam going to need them 12 or 13 shots. How efficient is he going to come when he comes over here? So if we ain't, like, doing a swap, like a steal for him, I'm out on that guy, bro. I'm ready to keep Devin Carter. The trade right now, bro, I'm telling you, it's 2 trades money. Valanciunas, I know we don't want him a starter. Domas can play the 4. That'd be nasty on rebounds with him starting at the 5 and Domas at the 4. That's a trade. The other trade is Portland. Go over there and talk to the boy Chauncey. Go get Keegan's brother and Robert Williams. We got a live threat, a big man, and we also can get that wing, and we can run with the brothers like twins. That's special. I know it sounds crazy, bro, but that's the move. We can kill 2 birds in 1 stone.
Thanks for the call, TC. Robert Williams, the last I saw on Robert Williams was the same thing that we see on a lot of these guys starting to the price tag may be a little bit higher than you'd like to see for a guy in Robert Williams who I don't know if I trust his shot blocking ability. I don't know if I trust his knees, though. I don't know if I trust his knees. You know, a guy that I have thought about for a while ever since he actually helped the Pelicans beat the Kings in the play-in. Larry Nance is just withering to nothing in Atlanta. He doesn't play. He's not in the rotation. I have to look at what his contract is, but he goes 6'8". We know he was a bit of a skywalker. I just think he's a big body that can just add to the versatility of this team. And that's a deal where you're not moving a couple second rounders, whatever it is.
Can I interest you in an expiring $11 million contract?
That's Larry Nance?
Yes.
Bing, bam, boom. That's all day.
So you want him over Trey Lyles?
I'm saying you don't have to move Trey.
You do, because you have to have the money work.
You can. No, I wouldn't move him over Trey. No.
Okay.
Simply because, and that's not this. That's simply because of how they're playing right now. We're going to have a Trey conversation. Don't get me wrong.
It's either Trey Lyles or 4 minimum contract guys. So it's got to be Trey Lyles.
Minimum contract, and give me some filler, and give me some second rounders. There you go, Atlanta.
I mean, I guess I shouldn't say that. I guess technically if Atlanta wants Kevin Huerter back, I'm just assuming Atlanta does not want Kevin Huerter back.
Yeah, the problem with the Kevin Huerter thing, it's not expiring. So
well, also, he was already there.
Yes,
right?
He was. Yes.
I don't think if they wanted him back, I don't think they would have traded him in the first place.
Well, that's the other thing too. We don't really know what Atlanta's trying to do because they're in the East, so they're gonna be in the play-in at the very least, and then Trae Young is gonna hit a shot against the Knicks and do the ice Trae thing, and they're just gonna be stuck in their limbo for a very long time. But
I don't know, they're pretty good.
If you could find, Jalen Johnson is gonna be really good, and Dyson Daniels as well. If you
don't forget Riss Shea.
Okay, you just wanted an excuse to say that. If you could find a way to get Larry Nance and not not lose Trey Lyles, I would find a way to do it. But somebody like that, that's not going to shake up things too much, but it's just a little bit more depth. Somebody is saying beef stew. That's from the 408. Let's get to Rob, who wants to be part of the conversation. What's up, Rob? What you got for us?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey.
So, well, I mean, I was going to start with something else, but since we're starting, I've been preaching Larry Nance for about a year or two now.
Mm-hmm.
He has been sitting doing nothing. You're right. Just withering away. He's a big body.
Mm-hmm.
We know he can play defense, but he's also 31. The thing that I like is that he is on an expiring contract. I'm looking at guys right now that are 2025 free agents, next year. He's one of them that I would look at. If you're going to look at a 31-year-old Larry Nance, though, I would be looking at Steven Adams a lot harder and see how his recovery process is doing and see if he's got enough left in the tank. Because if he does, I think that's an upgrade. He's also 31 with an expiring contract. I think we should. I like Cam Johnson. I like the guys we're talking about. I think we should go pester Mr. Ainge, and see if we can't pry John Collins away from him, because that's another guy who's sitting somewhere. He's playing well.
Right.
He's shown us numbers, but what's he doing? And for that team, they're not going anywhere. At least not this season.
Right. That's a great call, Rob. And we know that. Thanks for the call, Rob. And we know that Draper has been on the John Collins type train for a very long time. He is a little bit more expensive. I think it's $26 million, something like that. So maybe at this point, you say, Danny, look, we're paying a little bit more than we'd want to for John Collins. So because of that, don't make us give as many trade assets as you typically would. We got to make this money work. And what are you doing, Danny? What actually is your plan out there in Utah? Markkanen is 27, 28 years old. He's not a spring chicken. I know everybody is really high on the stuff that Danny Ainge does, but they don't want to move Walker. Every year it's 2 firsts for Walker Kessler. Now all of a sudden the Jazz don't want to move Walker Kessler. So I don't really know what the Jazz are doing, but John Collins would be yes. Again, somebody like that. I'm kind of off. Y'all know I'm tired of talking about Cam Johnson. I'm kind of off that train. The Thunder can grab him if they want. They have 8,000 first-round picks they can give up, but I don't really want to deal with that. Okay, DeMar DeRozan. He did something while the Kings had a break, and maybe this is attributing to their top 5 defense during this 7-game winning streak. We'll tell you what it is on the other side. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find De'Aaron Fox is Sacktown Sports.
Spins away from the defender, in the paint, soft floater. That's a great play by De'Aaron Fox.
Hey, Sacramento, it's De'Aaron Fox, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Whether you're tinkering in your garage or tackling big projects, if you know the value of working with your hands, you know Harbor Freight. And you can be confident knowing that at Harbor Freight, you can get quality tools at prices that work just as hard as you do. Because the only thing more satisfying than a job well done is a job well done, well under budget. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now it's our lowest price of the season on our top-selling i8 smart bed. Your best savings plus special financing. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Intercepted by Fred Warner.
Faithful to the Bay.
Fred gets up and runs back the other way, 30.
Don't miss the excitement of 49ers game day. Secure your spot at Levi's Stadium for the 2025 season.
20, one block and he's in.
Season tickets are available now. Inventory is limited, so to speak with a representative, call 415-GO-49ers.
Touchdown!
That's 415-GO-49ers.
San Francisco!
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win. Unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion, persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit KHTK.com.
Hey, this is Greg Papa. Are you working through a major insurance claim? SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to, not what just some adjuster working for an insurance company thinks you should get. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884. This year, resolve to save on the all-new 2025 Silverado at Maida Chevy. With $8,000 off MSRP after rebates on over 30 new half-ton Silverado LT and RST. After rebates. And Maida Chevy has one of the largest selections of new 2025 Silverados in the Sacramento area. $8,000 off new 2025 Silverado at Maida Chevy. Now that's big, huge. See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Not available with special financing, lease, and some other offers. List on 2011 or newer Chevrolet.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Drapes, Kyle Draper. As the proud sponsor of the Sacramento Kings Mop Crew, Alsco Uniforms offers certified hygienically clean lab coats, scrubs, bed linens, towels, floor mats, and an array of mops tailored for your healthcare facility. Our services include convenient delivery to your doorstep. Leading the way in healthcare laundry services in Northern California, discover why it pays to keep clean with Alsco Uniforms. Go to alsco.com to learn more. Again, that's ALSCO.com.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Hoblit Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram Center. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
It all starts on the defensive end. That's what we always hear, but that's not how it's typically gone for the Sacramento Kings. Well, enter Doug Christie. Doug Christie, known for his defensive prowess. But how about it being more than just learning from him and hearing about how good he was? Why don't you watch it? Well, that's what DeMar DeRozan decided he was going to do. DeMar DeRozan, during their mini break that the Kings have, DeMar DeRozan orchestrated a viewing of Doug Christie highlights, and this is what DeMar had to say about it.
When you look at your leader on the sideline, you could kind of identify the toughness. You know, Doug talks a lot of and to visually see why he talked, because that's what type of player he was. That's what gave him his long career, his defensive mindset. So when a team could see that, you know, how he was, and look over to the sideline and realize, you know, our head coach did the same thing that he asking of us. You know, it makes everybody just step up and want to embody that same type of mentality that, you know, coach has. So I just thought it was a cool thing just to be able to show, you know, when he played back in the day, the things he did, because he acts a lot of us defensively, and to see him doing it was, I thought that'd be cool.
You know, you can't talk enough about having a coach that has done it in the way that Doug Christie did it. But, you know, it's so funny because he's not the first player turned coach. So it's a very specific type of player that he is, right? Like, I don't know that, and you have obviously LeBron on that team, but J.J. Redick just comes to mind because obviously he played. But J.J. Redick being a marksman, sharpshooter that he was, obviously he is a player coach, but the grit that we're talking about when it comes down to the problem for the Kings has been defense, right? So bringing J.J. Redick in, even though he was a player, if you brought J.J. Redick in and he's trying to tell you to bear down on defense, you're going to say, JJ, all right, man, that wasn't really your forte. But if JJ's telling you something about shooting, and I saw JJ just taking some jump shots just a couple days ago, then I'm going to listen to JJ. For Doug Christie, it's exactly what the Kings needed because they struggled on the defensive end. So you bring in somebody that clearly knows what they're talking about when it comes to defense, and it's hitting in a different way. If Doug is, offensively, Doug is just saying, hey, just kind of do your thing. That's not really my forte. But they didn't really have issues offensively. We've just been waiting for them to hit shots. They already have a structure offensively. But defensively, it's hitting different because of who Doug was. There are a ton of former players, certain coaches throughout the league, but it all changes based on what your team specifically needs. And the Kings needed that grit, needed that dog defensively, and they're getting it from Coach Christie, who did it.
Well, and what I'm also curious about, and I'm so interested in the interpersonal aspects of this, is why is it resonating with this team differently than, say, Portland, right? Mm-hmm. Chauncey Billups was, if he didn't win Defensive Player of the Year, he was a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year. But they're year 5 into this thing with Portland, and I just looked it up. They've finished 29th, 30th, 26th, 23rd, and this year they're 26th in team defense.
Yeah.
Right? So, what is it that specifically is resonating with Doug? Because it's not just guy who played great defense, team is going to play hard for him. I'm so curious, and I do not know the answers at all. I just don't have enough inside information to know. What is it that is inspiring people in a way to play? Because the Kings, since Doug has taken over the coach, are a top 5 defense in the NBA. And I just am so curious how they make that transition when literally the last time the Kings had a top 15 defense for a full season was when Doug was a player on the team.
I do think the Sacramento thing is huge. I really do. If you, again, and we're just kind of throwing all these defensive coaches into a pile here, but if you were to, I don't really know how good of a coach Chauncey Billups is, right? So that's part of it too. But if Chauncey Billups replaced Mike Brown after Mike Brown got fired, I don't know that the Kings are playing the same way. I do think sometimes it's right place, right time, and Doug Christie coming in this moment, in this situation for this team, in this city is literally exactly what the team needed. Any one other thing could be different, and who knows if they're reacting the same way.
Yeah, and I do think Chauncey is a good coach. You don't make it 5 years on a rebuilding team, essentially, because I think they made the playoffs his first year. And other than that, you don't make it 4 years without making the playoffs if they don't recognize that you're a good coach and still get to keep that job. It's just, I'm curious what specifically what is it about Doug that is resonating with these players, all of whom are Sacramento Kings, but none of them have the Sacramento connection that Doug has. Some of them have built homes in Sacramento by virtue of they've been here for a long time, but these are not innately Sacramento players. So what is it specifically that's resonating other than Doug is the local guy? It's just, I'm really curious about that.
Well, as they keep winning, you just don't really ask questions. Just take care of business. We will hear from Doug Christie on the other side. It's time for Christie's Cuts when we get back. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
There's a reason why more and more people are coming from all over to Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Folsom, Elk Grove, Woodland, Roseville. And it's not just because they're centrally located next to Hagan Oaks Golf Course. It's because they make the car buying experience different than anywhere else. Yeah, of course they can get you a great price. That's the easy part. Where their general manager, Chuck Dean, and his team really make a difference is they don't believe you should have to sacrifice great customer service to get a great deal. Stomp on in today and see for yourself. That's Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. It's the place where a handshake still means something.
T-Mobile 5G home internet keeps getting better. Get our fastest connection loaded with benefits. Get T-Mobile's best home internet starting at $55 a month with auto pay and any voice line. Plus, price lock. We won't raise your rate on internet. Check availability at T-Mobile.com/home internet.
Exclusions like taxes and fees apply. Guarantees regular monthly rate plan price of fixed wireless 5G internet data with qualifying service. After $15 bill credit with postpaid voice line plus $5 a month without auto pay with debit or bank account. Regulatory fees included for qualifying accounts. $35 connection charge applies. Speeds vary due to factors affecting cellular networks.
Mornings can start feeling the same. Wake up, brush teeth, go to work. But with breakfast from Wendy's, it's like, wake up, brush teeth, Baconate with a breakfast Baconator. Roll with a sausage breakfast burrito. Buddy it up with a honey buddy. Or get seasoned with seasoned potatoes. And then go to work. Sorry. When you're ready for a fresh wake-up call, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
Hi, I'm Justin Gingery. One of the most common questions I receive is what makes us different from other law firms. At Gingery, Hammer & Associates, we handle your case from beginning to end. Whether your case reaches a settlement, whether we need to file suit, or even take it all the way to trial, we will be with you along the entire way. And because we are committed to you and your case, we are as invested as you are in making sure you get the outcome you deserve. If you have an injury, just call Gingery.
Listen for the Toyota Tahoe Report every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday with Johnny Mosley to get the latest weather conditions in Tahoe throughout this snow season. Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140. Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
We are in the 11 o'clock hour. We are kicking it off with some Doug Christie talk and expectations. What are your expectations now? I think that's what I'm trying to figure out, right? What are your expectations now? We're about to play some of this sound from Coach Doug Christie after the Bulls game. What is your expectation now? Like, right now, the Kings are back in the play-in conversation. They're 19-18. They have a winning record now. And if somebody said, all right, now what are your expectations? Now, we know what they were. I don't know. I actually don't know what they were when the Kings were completely in the basement. And now that they're not in the basement, what would you say your expectations are for this team? If somebody said, hey, right now in this moment, the Kings are going to be the 7 seed and get into the playoffs. Is that a fair expectation? Right now, are you sitting here? Are you just enjoying the wins? Or are you thinking this is kind of what the Kings should have been doing? Because they never should have been in that situation, right? Their record was their record did not represent who they were as a team. I think now it's starting to represent who they are as a team. And a lot of people had them slotted to be a 6-7 seed play-in team type deal. So what is your expectation for the Sacramento Kings right now? Kyle, let's hear from Doug Christie and everything he had to say after that Bulls W. Here it is.
It's not always going to be exactly how we want it or what we want, but finding a way to win. 3 30-point quarters, hold them to 24 in the fourth. Super excited for DeMar coming back. You know, those are always moments that you're excited for your players to try to make sure that they represent when they've played in the city and sacrificed in the city. And I think the guys wanted to win for DeMar as well. But a lot of really good effort and just more than anything, finding a way to win. And that's how it's going to be some nights. Just allowing them to play to their strengths. I think sometimes we get into actions that aren't really actions, like just get to the business. Like there's no need to do a lot of other stuff on top of the fact that we want to drive, kick, swing, and move the basketball. So it gives us more time to do that. Allowing them to just kind of use their special talents. I mean, Fox is fast. He can handle the basketball. He can get to the rack. Malik is the same way. DeMar is one of the best ISO players in the game. So you put him in position. Domas's rolling ability. Like when you go down the list, Keegan's shooting. We got some defenders on the wings. Like all those different things, trying to just, don't make it hard, just go get at it, and we live with the results. And let's, on the other end of the floor, let's lock arms and play really hard on that end.
When you're coaching a game like that, what are you focused on in the details?
Win more than anything. Trying to find a way. Like I said, Zach is an incredible player, so you're not going to stop him, but trying to find a way to slow him down, trying to keep the guys positive about, get back at it. I'm not going to call a timeout every time I think that there's a flow. If it's big enough, call a timeout. Otherwise, I trust you guys, and you guys got to learn how to trust yourself in those moments where it gets hard, it gets tough, but we need to not micromanage the situation. You guys got to solve the riddle and the problem. And they continue to do that by striking back, hitting some big shots, fighting on the glass. Like those are things that there's nothing that I'm necessarily doing but trusting them to be the greatest versions of themselves.
That was Doug.
Mentioned that he showed the videos of you because it would help the team when they look at you and know that you've done it. Mm-hmm. That helps them. How much do you appreciate that? Like, what does that mean to you that he would, a player, a leadership, in a leader role, would do something like that?
I would tell you it's priceless, man. I mean, that's the type of trust, love, and respect I want out of all of them. But having that time with DeMar in the summer, watching how he gets down, and then really just always being 100 with him and trusting him to do his thing, for him to show that in that moment, it says a lot about who he is, but it says a lot about our team and what we're trying to, it's together. It's like, I'm not separate as a coach. They're not separate as players. They have their room, I have my room, but at the same time, we are together as one, and it's not a hand, it's a fist.
Great stuff there from Doug Christie. Always some good notes there. It's not a hand, it's a fist, just bars there from Doug Christie. And a lot of the things that we've heard him say, we've heard him say a lot nowadays, but a lot of the things that keep sticking out to me is the fact that you're just saying we don't need to mess around with, I don't know if that was a direct shot at the DHOs at the dribble handoffs, but I thought it was telling when he said a lot of our actions are not even actions. We need to just get to the business. And when you watch the game and how free flowing it feels, hey, if you got a good matchup, we talked about this before, right? When you're watching and it's Keegan Murray matched up with Chris Paul, but you're getting into your offense and Keegan passes out of it because he's programmed to pass out of it. It's almost like college when you're watching college basketball and you're trying to figure out, oh, this guy's supposed to be really good. I mean, he's only putting up 13, 14 points because they're constricted in the offense, which is funny because the offense is supposed to be free flowing. But sometimes it would be constricting because it's, okay, we got to get into our action. We have to do this. We have to do that. When in reality, well, no, you don't. Or you don't always have to do it. If you have a favorable matchup, go at that man. And I think Doug is adding that into the fold more, where it's, if there is something that you guys actually are trying to get into it, but don't feel like you have to do it every single time you come down the floor. So it's just more freedom. Everyone keeps saying just simplifying the situation, just simplifying everything that they have been doing. And I do think that is something the Kings and the players on the Kings, it's resonating with them really, really well. 916-339-1140. Patrick wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, Patrick? What you got for us?
Hey, what's going on? Allen, first of all, I want to say I appreciate you giving my son a shout out, man, on his birthday in December.
Oh, of course, man.
Appreciate that. First of all, man, I think the reason why the team is responding to Doug so well is because I think Doug is a really, really big motivator when it comes to getting you ready for the game, and he shows love to other players, and the players feel that. And when you get that from a player that played the game and played hard, they're gonna respond for you. I'm not saying Mike Brown didn't get his respect, but maybe Mike Brown didn't come off as how Doug comes off. Mm-hmm. Very, very lovable, and just like, okay, you made a mistake, we'll get the next one. I mean, that's just how he was.
Yeah.
But other than that, this team is just playing unbelievable, man. And it's like, I'm excited to see what's going to happen down the road.
Thanks for the call, Patrick. Great stuff. Yeah, on the text line, somebody is saying that, and this goes right in line with what Patrick is saying, Doug is Sacramento's Ted Lasso. That's what they're saying. 530 goes on to say, I think it's a couple things that are making Doug successful. He bleeds purple. The guy loves this team and city so much he couldn't hide it if he wanted to. He's aggressive but full of love. People feel it. He gets his point across. There's no ambiguity in his message. Doug is Sacramento's Ted Lasso. I think I like that one. It's just you're feeling good. The belief is right. And it's not about the other shoe dropping, but I am very interested in what happens when this team loses a game, because that's where we're going to learn even more about this team.
Since we're just talking about Ted Lasso, I think it's so fun that like Ted Lasso is like this feel good, great story when there's so much like grit and nuance to the story. And it's basically just a giant mental health story for a whole season.
Yeah.
But you know what? Hey, Ted Lasso makes us feel good. So you know what? Doug Christie can be Sacramento's Ted Lasso.
That's what he is right now.
But also, Ted Lasso was wholly underqualified for the job, and I don't think that applies for Doug. Doug is only been an assistant coach for 4 years, obviously, but I think for this organization, when you play for the franchise and all of that, anyways, sure, he can be Ted Lasso.
Yeah,
we're all feeling good today. If that makes you feel good, great.
There you go. 7 in a row. The Celtics won. To me, yesterday's game checked off a box because it could have been a letdown game. You got De'Aaron coming back. Things could have looked clunky, and it wasn't the cleanest game by any stretch of the imagination, but they got the W. But that Celtics game, to me, I can't get over it. I can't get over what I watched. I cannot get over what I watched. The game yesterday was a bit more, call it classic, if you will, just in terms of the production. You had Domantas Sabonis with 22, 15 rebounds. His rebounding is out of control right now. 21 points for DeMar DeRozan in his return to Chicago. Keegan Murray with 14. I mean, we have to talk more about Keegan Murray and his ability to shoot the basketball 3 for 8 from three-point range. And that's all you really needed from Keegan. You don't need Keegan to go 5 for 6 or anything like that. We just need you to be a threat. De'Aaron Fox, 4 for 8 from 3. He had 26 points in his return. Malik Monk, 18 points. He had 9 assists. Domantas Sabonis had 8 assists as well. Some of these minutes here, as we're being positive, don't get me wrong, but these minutes are still heavy. 38 minutes for Domantas Sabonis, 37 minutes for DeMar DeRozan, 36 for Keegan Murray, De'Aaron Fox with 33, Malik Monk with 37. Still heavy minutes. You don't love seeing that, but you do love. Before they were playing heavy minutes and losing. So at least if you're playing these big minutes, you're leaving with something. Trey Lyles, 18 minutes. He had 6 points. He had 7 rebounds. Kevin Huerter, 10 minutes. He had 7 points, 3 for 4 from the field. Devin Carter, 11 minutes. He had 2 points. He had 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Kevin Huerter had 4 assists, by the way. And Keon Ellis played 20 minutes. He had 8 points. He was 2 of 4 from three-point land in a game where, yeah, I mean, look, there's no Kobe White, who's been playing really, really well. I got to finally watch some Matas Buzelis. Look, he might be a guy, not yet, but he might be a guy eventually. In that situation, I mean, you dealt with Lonzo being 5 of 8 from three-point range. These are things that normally would crush the Kings, right? No Kobe White, so Lonzo decides to do his best Steph Curry impersonation and is 5 of 8 from three-point lane.
Lonzo hit 4 threes at halftime. It was the first time in 3 years that he hit 4 threes at halftime.
That's the type of stuff that would normally crush the Kings, but they're just staying the course. Vucevic had a pretty good game too. He had 18 points. I know a lot of people bring up Vucevic as a trade target. You got to see him in person do his thing yesterday. Josh Giddey, still not really sure what exactly it is that he does here, but he's tall and he can pass the basketball.
He scores but doesn't shoot.
Yes, he scores but doesn't shoot, and he passed. He did have 11 rebounds. Kind of just an all-around guy. He's still young, so we'll see what happens with Josh Giddey. Zach LaVine, I mean, basically it was, we talk about the 2 different ways you can approach these things when there's really one guy you're worried about, and that one guy was Zach LaVine for the Bulls. And it's, hey, don't let the other guys get going. Don't let Patrick Williams get going. Don't let Lonzo get going, which he did a little bit. Zach LaVine can't score 100 points. So Zach LaVine, not that the Kings, obviously they were trying to turn the faucet off, but Zach LaVine, to some degree, it's, hey, we understand that if it's going to be the Zach LaVine show, as long as we can harness it a little bit, we're more okay with that than distributing the basketball and other guys getting going on top of not stopping Zach LaVine. So it's a little bit of picking your poison there, and that is what the Kings decided to do. All right, let's get to Domantas Sabonis rebounding numbers, some crazy notes on that. And then we're going to talk about Trey Lyles. Am I tripping when it comes to Trey Lyles and how important he's been to this lineup? Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
The only place you'll find Kevin Huerter is Sacktown Sports.
Huerter's open, steps into 3. He's got the triple.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Kevin Huerter, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Order for Jennifer C. Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double whip, double sleeve? Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine? Did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year? Oh, really? That's great. Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year? Yeah, you just said that. Did you say I just said that? Yeah, I'm cutting you off. I can't have any more? Why not?
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
T-Mobile 5G home internet keeps getting better. Get our fastest connection loaded with benefits. Get T-Mobile's best home internet starting at $55 a month with autopay and any voice line. Plus, Price Lock. We won't raise your rate on internet. Check availability at T-Mobile.com/home internet.
Exclusions like taxes and fees apply. Guarantees regular monthly rate plan price of fixed wireless 5G internet data with qualifying service. After $15 bill credit with postpaid voice line plus $5 a month without autopay with debit or bank account. Regulatory fees included for qualifying accounts. $35 connection charge applies. Speeds vary due to factors affecting cellular networks.
LaVine driving, misses, that'll do it. And Malik Monk has the rebound. And the Sacramento Kings are going to have a 7-game winning streak. It's the first time since 2022. Behind us, Light the Beam chant as the Kings get the victory, 124-119.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
As we are talking about the Sacramento Kings on a 7-game winning streak, a name continues to pop up that I don't know what it is. Maybe it just feels like you invested a lot in this guy and it all just ended so soon. But I'm looking here in the Sack Chat. Shout out to the Sack Chat, by the way, everybody in there enjoying their day and watching the show, Sacktown Sports 1140. That's how you search it on YouTube if you want to be a part of the Sack Chat. And I'm seeing people, I know he had 50 points, whatever it is, but we're still talking about Sasha Vezenkov right now. Really? We're talking about Sasha Vezenkov. Here's my thing with the Sasha Vezenkov situation. Everything would be looked at completely differently if he didn't run back home. Mr. Vezenkov. If he was on a team right now and even just getting decent minutes and showing that he can be an NBA player, then I would hear you. But he's doing this overseas. He's a former EuroLeague MVP. We get all that. I haven't seen the highlights, but I can guarantee you it's probably a lot of spot-up shooting. That's probably what it is. That's what I would gather. The whole thing about the Sasha Vezenkov thing to me is that he's not even in the league. Go and pull numbers on some of these guys that are just balling overseas. That does not mean anything was going to translate. Do I think he got a quote-unquote fair shake? And I hate using the F word when it comes to sports because things just, really life in general, things just aren't fair sometimes. But do I think he got a fair shake in Sacramento? Probably not. But again, if he thought things were going to end up better in Toronto, I don't think he runs back home. So the Sasha Vezenkov thing to me, it's just I guess the investment that you feel just kind of went away. But he's not even in the league. If he was in the league, I would get it. But he is not even in the league. So yes, but Sasha, he did ball out. What was that this weekend? He did ball out this weekend. Back home doing his thing. So shout out Sasha Vezenkov. Meanwhile, the Kings are scratching and clawing their way. I'm looking here at the standings, scratching and clawing their way, not just into the play-in, but hopefully out of the play-in into the playoffs. The Lakers in that 6th seed at 20-16, Clippers at 20-17 in the 7th seed, Timberwolves at 20-18, and I know Anthony Edwards, he flipped somebody off. He got fined again for flipping off a fan or a referee, something like that. And the Kings sitting at 20-19 are tied, right, with those 19 losses with the Suns, the Warriors, and the Spurs. So you keep winning games. The Suns are free falling right now. The Warriors are doing a lot of the same. And the Spurs will just cool off at some point. The Chris Paul effect will subside.
I don't know. Wemby's just going to carry them all the way. I think they're going to win 41 games, but that doesn't mean that they're even going to get the 11 seed because as crazy as it sounds, 41 wins might not get you to the play-in West.
Yeah, so those are the teams that the Kings are fighting with and how they continue to win games, in part due to Domantas Sabonis and his ridiculous rebounding. On Friday, he had a historic career-high 28 rebounds. 28. Yes, that is not a typo. 28.
I cannot emphasize enough just how insane some of these numbers are going to be.
Total rebounds, Sabonis had 28. The rest of the Kings had 28 themselves. All right, the whole team had 28. Offensive rebounds, he had 8. Boston Celtics had 8. The eighth game with 28 or more rebounds in the NBA since 2014. The most rebounds in a game by a King in the Sacramento era since 1985. The previous was 26 by Domantas Sabonis, and also Chris Webber did it. The first King to record 27 or more rebounds in a game since Jerry Lucas, February 17th, 1969. He is the first player to record 27 or more rebounds in the Boston Garden since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in 1971. Domas has been on a heater since his guy, Doug Christie, was named head coach. That's just insane. Insane stuff from Domantas Sabonis.
We're not even talking about Lakers Kareem. This is Bucks Kareem.
Yeah.
Is the last time someone scored 27 rebounds in the Garden. It is absolutely insane. It's only happened 8 times in the last decade that Domantas Sabonis has grabbed that many rebounds. Before yesterday's game against the Bulls, Frankie Cardicelli had the stat. He's been averaging 17 rebounds a game since Doug Christie took over as the head coach. That is insane how good of a rebounder. And he's on pace now to lead the league in rebounding the 3rd year in a row.
I got to give a shout out to Ramsey. We did Prop Talk on Friday, and he took Sabonis 33.5 points, rebounds. And I said, I don't know, man. Porzingis might be pulling him out the paint. I don't know if I would do 33.5. Sabonis almost got that on rebounds alone.
If you had given him overtime, do you think he would have gotten 33 rebounds?
I think it's very possible. I think it is very possible. By the way, that Celtics game, I know I've heard some mixed reviews on the Celtics broadcast. I heard that the Celtics broadcast was giving the Kings their kudos. Then I heard that the Celtics broadcast was kind of sticking their nose up against towards the Kings. And look, they're the champs. It is what it is. But as they discuss the Domantas Sabonis situation, I guess towards the end of the game, they were curious why the Kings didn't take out their starter soon enough, but the Celtics waited a really long time. I mean, I felt like there was not more than 2 minutes left when they waved the white flag. So they waved their white flag, and then you blink, the clock doesn't stop, and it's 1:48 left. It's at that point, do you really? It's not like anybody's actually. Is it just the sign of, okay, we'll do it too, because your bench guys, that's not even enough for real garbage time. So I didn't hear it, but I did hear some people talking about the Celtics broadcast saying, why aren't the Kings taking out their guys? I mean, there was only how much time was left, Kyle?
So the Celtics took out their guys with 2 minutes and 8 seconds left. And the score at that point was 116-92.
Yeah, I mean, that's 2 minutes.
106-92.
So you take it out, and then the next probably stoppage, you're under 2 minutes. I mean, you could take them out, but it's not like they took them out with – it wasn't a legit garbage time situation where there's 4 or 5 minutes of garbage time to be played.
14-point game with 2:08 to play, and the Kings did leave their starters in. That's one of those that's just like plausible deniability. It's like Boston, they could see Boston putting their guys over there, so I guess you could say sure, but that's close enough where I don't think you have to put in the backups, especially if you're just running out the clock on the game.
I don't think you have to. And the other thing is, based on how that timing went, all I would say to that Celtics broadcast, all I would say to them is, did you watch the Nuggets game? We can't be too careful at any point in time.
They played a literal perfect final 4 minutes against the Kings, which, in fairness, when they made the switch, Sam Hauser, who literally looks like a Walmart Gordon Hayward, Sam Hauser hit a 3-pointer immediately after coming in. So it was only an 11-point game at that point.
Yeah. So I saw some notes on that, but in my opinion, there wasn't enough time to it just was unnecessary. I just don't think that it was necessary. I don't think it was the Kings trying to prove a point or whatever it is. It's just, look, don't be salty. Y'all lost. Don't be #Laurie's season salt. Y'all lost. It's okay. You're the champs. You'll figure it out whenever you figure it out. Well, Doug Christie has figured out a lot of these rotations. He has been riding the hot hands a lot more than we've seen in the past. Let's discuss when we return. Now on South Sacktown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sacktown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by the San Francisco 49ers.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It is Monday, getting out the door to a cool start. Some patchy frost possible across the valley floor. For the afternoon, expect plenty of sunshine, occasional north winds, and temperatures today in the lower 60s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Don't miss the excitement of 49ers Game Day by securing your 2025 season tickets now. Inventory is limited, so speak with a representative. Dial 415-GO-NINERS and reserve your seats. That's 415-GO-NINERS.
You know, when it's all on the line, you need a big-time closer, and that's especially true when it comes to your garage door. And that's why I recommend National Garage Door, 638-4554. Whitey Gleason here for National Garage Door. Whether you're looking to repair an existing door or get a brand new one installed, you need National Garage Door. Family-owned and operated. They've been around since 1974 because service is their number one priority. National Garage Door are the region's BSE, it's broken spring experts. Styles, prices, and quality of the new doors will amaze you. Our garage door was starting to sound kind of, and that's not good. So Kevin from National Garage Door came out. He said patching up the old one was an option, but we're getting a new garage door. We're pretty happy about that. National Garage Door sells quality Rainer branded garage doors. They offer sales, service, and installation on all residential and commercial doors and operators. If you have garage door needs, old ones coming apart, or you're looking to improve your curb appeal, let National Garage Door come through for you in the clutch and be your closer. 638-4554, National Garage Door.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find. Happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too. Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
It's a myth to think you don't play golf well enough to get fitted for golf clubs. The professionals at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio would argue that playing the game with golf clubs properly fitted to your body and swing characteristics is the best way to improve your game and have more fun on the golf course. With a professional staff of fitters, all the major brands of equipment, and cutting-edge technology featuring TrackMan, the indoor-outdoor Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio is worth a look. See for yourself, Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway. Schedule your fitting at 916-808-2531, 808-2531.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Hoblit Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram Center. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
This year, resolve to save on the all-new 2025 Silverado at Maida Chevy with $8,000 off MSRP after rebates on over 30 new half-ton Silverado LT and RST after rebates. And Maida Chevy has one of the largest selections of new 2025 Silverados in the Sacramento area. $8,000 off new 2025 Silverado at Maida Chevy. Now that's big, huge. See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Not available with special financing, lease, and some other offers. List on 2011 or newer Chevrolet.
Intercepted by Fred Warner.
Faithful to the Bay.
Fred gets up and runs back the other way, 30.
Don't miss the excitement of 49ers game day. Secure your spot at Levi's Stadium for the 2025 season.
20, one block and he's in.
Season tickets are available now. Inventory is limited, so to speak with a representative, call 415-GO-49ers.
Touchdown!
That's 415-GO-49ers.
San Francisco!
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports, taking up to 2 p.m. Kings are on a 7-game winning streak in that mess at not the bottom, but towards the bottom of the Western Conference, in that play-in mess, I should say, trying to get out of it. And they've been doing a good job starting to get out of it thanks to Doug Christie riding the hot hands at the right time. So you had a situation, and this was after the Celtics game. And Doug Christie talks about this moment, and this has something to do with Keon as well. But Doug Christie had this to say when he talked about sticking with Devin Carter over Keon while Devin was cooking in that fourth quarter. Here it is.
I mean, there's a confidence and a fearlessness in him. First of all, defensively, he's really solid. He's going to be physical. He's going to do everything that we ask on the defensive end. Offensively, like as a rookie, you're always going to be a work in progress, trying to figure it out, all those different things, especially when you haven't played all year. But there was there was a moment when Keon came up and he was like, D, I'm good. Let the young fella roll. And I was coming to him to say the same thing. And that's how you support each other. And that's how you support your teammates. So it was a really good moment. And then after that, we ended up going big with Trey, and Keon is as happy in there for anybody. And those are the things that we need. We need to support each other. Some nights you'll play more, some nights you'll play more. But what we do is we do it together.
There you go. That was Doug Christie. And, maybe we're still learning his coaching style, but feels like Doug was going to tell Keon, and Keon was basically saying, hey, don't have to worry about me being upset or anything. I understand that Devin Carter is cooking right now. And he was. So that was kind of a coming out party for Devin Carter, who a lot of people are high on. If you were in the don't trade Devin Carter camp, you had a really good weekend, especially against the Boston Celtics, the defending champs. So that leads us to a question from Esteban on the text line from the 916. Esteban says, Allen, do you think Carter can produce the same or more than Herter? I believe so. Yeah, I just don't really know. I agree with you. I would say so. I just ultimately don't think that Kevin Herter is in the future plans for the Sacramento Kings. I obviously he's on contract, but I mean he's been dangled in trade talks for a couple seasons,
months,
now, a long time
since the Beam Team season of 2023. So we're going on a third calendar year.
So he's been in those trade talks. Kevin knows he's been a part of those. Everybody knows it's kind of the elephant in the room. They just haven't been able to get anything done quite yet. And in the interim, I mean, I think this stuff is just going to take care of itself organically. I will say this, and you can kind of joke about it if you want, but I mean, Kevin is still bought in. I do think that matters. And when you watch him, when they do a shot to the bench and Kevin Herter he's standing up with everybody else, feeling it. I mean, winning does cure everything. It's one thing to be sitting. If you've ever had to ride pine before, it's one thing to ride pine or have a lesser role. It's one thing to have a lesser role on a bad team, on a losing team, because you're thinking, I mean, I could be doing that, right? We all have, my dad is that guy, but we all have that friend who a guy drops a pass in the NFL or misses a free throw. I mean, I could do that. I could get paid millions to miss a free throw, right? So when you are losing games, that can be more of the thought process. Malik Monk, I'm not starting, and we're a 10 seed, and we're not even in the play-in. Kevin Herter, I'm getting less playing time, and we're losing games. When you're winning, obviously you still want to play, but when you're winning, it's a lot harder to complain in that way. And I'm looking here, 19 minutes for Kevin. Again, no De'Aaron Fox, but 19 minutes for Kevin Herter against the Celtics, 114-97. He's 0 for 5 from 3, 2 points on the night. He did have 3 steals, so shout out to the 3 steals, but that's just not going to cut it. It's not good enough.
Yeah, and that's the interesting conversation about who is part of the future and do they make a move at the deadline or the offseason. Is when they got Kevin Herter, it was with the intention of he's probably only going to be on the team for the length of this 3-year contract or 4-year contract that he's presently on. It was almost like they were signing him to an extension because Atlanta had just signed him a year earlier and they moved off of him because they traded for DeJounte Murray. But it was like, he's basically a free agent signing that they acquired through trade. And now his contract is coming up at the end. They don't really see him as part of the long-term future because there's extensions coming for Keegan Murray. There's eventually going to be an extension for Keon Ellis. It's like that's where that money is going to begin to be allocated. So while Kevin Herter still has a role on this team, Devin Carter is the long-term plan at the 2-guard position, at least at the backup, and eventually probably taking over as the starter, at least if everything goes well for the Kings. So I understand we're kind of in that transition phase of they're both still going to get minutes because they're both still contributing, but we kind of see the writing on the wall. We know where the King's bread is buttered. It's Devin Carter, who's on a 4-year rookie scale extension versus Kevin Herter, the contract everyone keeps trying to include in trade talks and is on an expiring deal this offseason.
Yeah, when you look at just what they do and what both are bringing to the team, whether it's Kevin or Keon. The problem for Kevin Huerter is that all these guys can shoot, right? Kevin Huerter, his calling card is shooting. But when you have Devin Carter, who is not shy at all when it comes to shooting the basketball, when you have Devin Carter who can get after you defensively and shoot the basketball. Now, look, we're still trying to see what Devin Carter is going to be in this league. It's only been a couple games. But if Devin Carter is going to shoot the basketball like this, and you still have Keon Ellis shooting the basketball, 40% three-point shooter, then you're looking. Now, obviously, Kevin is taller than both of those guys, but when you look at what everybody is bringing to the table, both of those guys do bring more, right? But right now, Kevin Huerter, he understands his role, I believe, more so now, especially with them winning. He still brings that gravity from his ability to shoot the basketball. So there's still a role for him on this team. It's just the role is changing, and then it doesn't necessarily match up how much you're paying him. Kevin Huerter at $16 million as a starter is a lot different than Kevin Huerter that's getting 10 minutes.
Same point to Malik Monk as a starter is making $18 million a year now, 18.5. Malik, or 19.5 on average, but I think it probably escalates. Now Malik Monk's making that $18 million a year, and now he's the starter at the 2, which is part of it also. And to add to your point about Devin Carter, I know he had a great fourth quarter against the Celtics and everything like that, but he's had a couple welcome to the NBA moments as well, too.
Yeah.
Like the slipping on the floor and just chucking it out to Trey Lyles.
Yeah.
He got his shot rejected on one play. It's
right.
like he's had a couple moments where you see, oh yeah, this guy's in his third NBA game.
Yeah, we're definitely not talking. Yes, right now we're definitely not talking about Kevin Huerter racking up DNPs. That's not happening.
Especially on this team that we're still fully healthy for the first time this year, and you can still say they have bench depth issues.
Yeah, that ain't happening. But Kevin Huerter locking in. What was it? I think he was. When it was Mike Brown and Kevin Huerter went to the bench, he talked about basically getting 12 minutes per a half to get to around 24 minutes. Yeah, I don't know that Kevin Huerter will be getting 20 to 24 minutes a night right now either. So I think there'll be nights where if he's rolling, just like if that was Kevin Huerter who was rolling, Doug Christie would have done the same thing. But Devin Carter was rolling. So he's going to have his opportunities. He's going to have his spots. He's just not going to have as many opportunities as he had last season, and he's going to have to take advantage of them when he gets it. That's really what it is with Kevin Huerter right now. And a lot of people bringing up the fact that Kevin Huerter is still in these talks to have to get moved. I think it eventually happens, but in the meantime, if you watch the vibes of this team, and I know vibes is really close to being an overused sports term, but if you do watch the vibes and you see Kevin Huerter, he's not pouting, he's not, there are a couple times last season where, I think he didn't close a game and he said, I feel like I could have helped there. So you're not hearing that type of stuff, even though guys aren't playing or not playing as much. So you got to think that everybody is on board or now. Again, they're probably not going undefeated the rest of the season. So when they do lose a game, how does that change everything? That every move is perfect right now because you're winning. So nobody can complain. You lose a game here or there, then it becomes, well, I got 10 minutes and we lost. So maybe if I get 15, if I get back to my 20 minutes, we could win that game. So that is where that stuff is going to come into play. And hopefully we don't have to talk about it. Hopefully the Kings just keep winning. That's a possibility too. But that's probably not going to happen.
I've got your stats for you real quick here on the minutes. So from when Malik takes over as the starter until Mike gets fired, and I'm including the Laker game in there because they just ran the same rotation. How many minutes do you think Kevin Huerter played per game?
From the moment Mike got let go to now?
No, from when Malik was named the starter after the Portland game through Mike getting fired. And again, Laker game included.
Yeah, when Kevin said he was getting basically 12 and a half, so I'll say he was playing about 22 minutes a game.
24.
Okay, so literally 12
literally 12 and a half. 24.2. In the 7-game winning streak, how many minutes a game do you think Kevin has gotten?
Might be ballooned because of no De'Aaron, but, I'm going to say, I don't know, 18 minutes?
16.6.
Yeah.
16.6. So we're seeing a decline by 7.5 minutes per game for Kevin Huerter between when he got moved to the bench under Mike Brown and in the winning streak with Doug Christie.
And the other part of that, too, is Devin Carter making it back, and being healthy again. So that has changed things, too, as far as how much time Kevin Huerter is getting. Great stuff there, Kyle. Let's continue the conversation on the bench. And I said something yesterday on social media. I'm not sure that I'm regretting it or not, but I am getting roasted for it. It pertains to one Trey Lyles. I will tell you what it is, and let's discuss on the other side. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Keegan Murray plays here.
Keegan scores another three-pointer. Keegan Murray knocking it down for 23 points. Snatched the Aaron Fox for game scoring honors.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room, and guess what? Primetime football is back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game in high-hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game. As always, offering the best food, the best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. So check them out, Capital Casino, and always remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Advanced Infusion Center, where we prioritize your comfort and well-being. Whether you're managing a chronic condition or seeking specialized IV therapy, our state-of-the-art center offers tailored solutions to meet your needs. Advanced Infusion Center's dedicated healthcare professionals are here to ensure your safety and provide personalized care. Conveniently located in Sacramento and Yuba City with flexible scheduling options. Experience a new standard in infusion therapy. Visit Advanced Infusion Center today at advancedinfusion.com.
Listen for the Toyota Tahoe Report every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday with Johnny Mosley to get the latest weather conditions in Tahoe throughout this snow season. Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
I said something, as I typically do, and I'm kind of getting roasted for it. Let me tell you what it is. He came in, he missed some threes, and I reacted. And this is what I had to say, just making sure I get it correctly. I said, at what point do the Kings get off the Trey Lyles roller coaster?
Trey Lyles movement.
And I got absolutely flamed for saying that, and I want to clarify what I said. And Kyle has pulled some numbers because, you know what? Like I said, it was more about the three-point shooting in my mind. But Kyle will break down some of these numbers for us. But when I said it, what I initially felt was that Trey Lyles is your, I don't know, it's tough now with Devin Carter and Kevin Huerter, but he's basically your first big man off the bench, right? He comes in, he'll play with Domantas Sabonis. He will come in for Domantas Sabonis. I would call Trey Lyles, he's your 6th or 7th guy. And in my opinion, that's just too high, to be completely honest with you. I feel like Trey Lyles, you know, we've seen some spurts from Trey Lyles where he plays really well, but now we're having conversations where, you know, I was going back and forth with somebody on social media and they said, I think he is a pivotal piece on this team right now. And number one, I just felt like, well, if he's a pivotal piece on this team, then I just don't think you want to make a trade. If Trey Lyles is now untouchable, then let's just not have trade conversations. And I'm okay with that. But let's not, if you can't move Trey Lyles, then I really just don't think some of you want to make a trade. You just don't know it yet. You just like talking about making trades. But when it comes to Trey Lyles, I just think that for what they're asking him to do, it's too much for what they've asked him to do. But then, Kyle, you pulled some numbers during the win streak, and I was a bit surprised. I actually called you a liar in the pregame, but you weren't lying. You pulled these numbers, so please, Kyle, let me know what Trey Lyles has actually been doing during this win streak.
All right, so Trey Lyles during the Kings' 7-game winning streak is putting up 9.7 points per game, 7.3 rebounds per game, 1.6 assists, 1 steal per game, 0.6 blocks. We'll go into the splits in a second later, but in totality, he has put up 46% shooting from the field and 40% from the 3-point line.
There's no way.
But there is a way.
There's no. I'm not seeing that.
Oh.
But now I have to admit that when it comes to Trey Lyles, apparently I don't know ball.
Welcome to the beauty of small sample sizes, my friend. Because
I don't know ball.
We had this stat last week on the show. I'm trying to remember which game it was now, where Trey Lyles had, for the first time in his career in the first half, it was at Golden One Center. I just can't remember which game on the winning streak it was now. Trey Lyles had 100% shooting from the field on 5 shot attempts and 4 3-pointers. It was the first time in his literal entire career, was the Memphis game, the first time in his literal entire career that he's shot 100% from the field in a half while taking that many shots. And that's going to bump up all of his averages. But you talk about streaky shooting sometimes, and this was the stat that I think probably is where you feel like it's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
In this 7-game win streak, he's had games where from the field he has shot 25%, 30%, 33%, 40%, 44%, 55%, and 100% from the field. So he is literally all over the place.
Yeah.
He was 0 for 6 yesterday from the 3-point line. So if you want to just focus in on that specifically,
right,
he has an 0 for game, a 100% game, and hits basically every percentage point in between. So he's been all over the place, but if you put it all together, he's rebounding really well, and scoring 10 points a game. And if you can get 10 points a game from the bench, oh my God, could you imagine Allen Stiles in November begging for 10 points a game from Trey Lyles when the entire bench was scoring 10 points a game?
Yeah. So obviously it's not a perfect science, but I do stand a bit corrected when it comes to Trey Lyles and what he's been doing. I think the rebounding has been phenomenal. I just think of Trey when it comes to offensively being able to help the team and stretch the floor and hit those threes. And he's always going to be a streaky shooter. To me, I would prefer him as an 8th, 9th guy off the bench as opposed to 6 to 7. You know, somebody else responded to me, said, well, who else are you going to play? I guess that's my whole point. I'm not saying to not play Trey Lyles. I'm saying that you have to either either upgrade or you have to add something in addition to Trey Lyles. That's what I'm saying.
Well, and I think to your point, even though I don't know if it's correct or not about the Trey Lyles experience or the Trey Lyles movement. It has been a bit of a roller coaster, but the last 3, I remember, like we were talking about, Trey Lyles is finally back in shape and everything is working out and he's playing great.
He lost a lot of pounds. He was fat.
But now the last 3 games, he's shooting 2 for 15 from the 3-point line.
Yeah.
Shooting 30% from the field. He's rebounding great, but his shooting is just fallen off a cliff in the last 3 games. So you take the good with the bad, but I don't, calling the experience or the Trey Lyles movement a roller coaster, I feel like is not fair to him because it's only been 3 games of poor shooting.
Well, just in general. Right. I mean, what I was saying, it's the whole, obviously you don't have anybody else right now. right? But it's just a matter of from last season, it's not his fault, but his ability to be available as well. And then he has to get back in playing shape from that. So I was really talking about everything when it comes to Trey Lyles. I will say that we've definitely already seen higher highs from Trey Lyles in certain games this season than we saw all of last season already.
I think that's fair. And their highs, we talked about it when he hit the 14 points and was 100% from the field. Putting up numbers that only have happened in the Beam Team season. Like in his entire 10-year career, the only time it's happened is the Beam Team season and that short stretch of games where Malik Monk said he lost a lot of weight.
He lost a lot of pounds. He was fat.
So I had to wear that. I had Kyle pull some of the numbers. I understand it now. I understand why people, Trey Bay, a lot of people are protective over Trey Lyles.
Trey Lyles movement.
We get all that. From what I was seeing, there's so much he can bring to the team if he's shooting the ball well. And I was a little bit too focused on the shooting and obviously rebounding the basketball and even defensively. I mean, he's no slouch defensively. And the reality is that's who you have right now to kind of stretch the floor and add that versatility. They only have one guy like that on the team in Trey.
And against the Boston Celtics, who are such a crazy lengthy team, Trey Lyles played 28 minutes.
Yeah.
And when he got that significant run, he pulled down 11 rebounds. Like, they needed somebody. I'm sure you guys talked about it on Friday, and I put it in the notes, is like, are you going to have DeRozan guarding Al Horford? Are you going to have Keon Ellis guarding Jaylen Brown? But their Celtics just had so much length that they had to, by necessity, play Trey Lyles. And defensively, he was fine, but getting rebounds and playing significant run when he hadn't had a game of more than 25 minutes all season, it's a big deal. And he played great in the Boston game. And like Doug said during our Christie's cuts, like they started with Devin and then went to Lyles and Keegan down the stretch, playing significant run.
Yeah, so that is what we're seeing from Trey right now. AA Run on the Sack Chat says, if you had the luxury to roll with Trey when he's hitting, similar to how we were able to use TD 2 years ago, that would be the ideal situation.
I think people are overvaluing what Terrence Davis actually brought to the Beam Team season, because he had the one game where he scored 33 points. It wasn't like it was a luxury to play Terrence Davis. Terrence Davis came in when they needed anybody to play.
My point is that you're asking a lot. You're probably asking a little bit too much from Trey Lyles. So when I say the Trey Lyles roller coaster, I think it's also his usage and the fact that you only have Trey. So you're using him. He's being a little misused.
I think to the texter's point, I think it's somewhere in between, right? Terrence Davis had a couple moments, but he was not, I would not classify him as a contributor on the Beam Team season. I think if Trey Lyles is the ninth guy off the bench, that would be a perfect setup for the Kings. The problem is they don't have any other forwards. Therefore, Trey Lyles, again, against Boston, he has to play well and has to guard either Hauser or Porzingis, which is a wild discrepancy in guarding ability, just because that's what they need on defense. So Trey Lyles has been playing very well and contributing. It's just, I understand where you're getting the roller coaster thing from, because offensively, it's been best half of his career and 0 for 6 from the 3-point line. And as we just went through with the numbers, literally everywhere in between.
Let's keep the conversation moving and grooving as we approach the 12 o'clock hour. Do the Kings still have to make a move? I said, if the Kings beat the Celtics, I will entertain the idea of the Kings not making a move. Well, we're going to entertain it on the other side. 916-339-1140 if you want to be a part of the conversation. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back, He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave coming to you from my good friends at American Energy. Look, it's already cold outside. It's only going to get colder. American Energy wants to help you stay warm and make sure your system is operating safely. So right now is the time to take advantage of the $49 tune-up inspection. Normally $119, $49 right now, and that includes a full safety and duct inspection. And check it out. If your system's over 10 years old, and I'll bet it is, the tune-up, yeah, it's free. It's free from a company that's been in business since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ Better Business Bureau. Check their Yelp, check their Google reviews. Don't take my word for it. Give them a call right now. $50 off your first recommended repair. If you need a new furnace, half off the price of a new unit. Check them out at theaeway.com and tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Oh, I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
I joined the military for my kid and his mom. I miss my son a lot. One of the things with the military is tobacco, but I saw a lot of people try to deal with mental issues. Everyone's vaping constantly. After my first hit of a vape, I was hooked like that. Once I got back home from my deployment, I caught my son trying to hit my vape. That was it. I had to quit.
Californians are beating big tobacco. You can too. For free support, text Kick Nicotine to 66819 today.
What sets Ashton & Price apart from other injury law firms? I'll tell you. From beginning to end, all important legal decisions are made directly between our clients and their experienced local attorney. A gate agent flying the plane, the receptionist performing surgery, not a chance. There's simply no substitute for the unique power of the direct attorney-client relationship offered by Ashton & Price. And there's never a fee until we win, and between you and me, we win a lot.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Coach Doug Christie here for your truck headquarters, reminding you that every deal at Folsom Lake Ford is a slam dunk. Shop all your favorite models on sale now, including America's best-selling truck for over 47 years, Ford F-Series, plus a huge selection of Broncos, Bronco Sports, and all of Ford's award-winning SUVs at FolsomLakeFord.com. Listen, I know a great play when I see one, and if you want to save on a new Ford, you gotta drive the lane straight to Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall. Right now, buy any new Ford with zero down on approval of credit. Save big with low interest financing, and Folsom Lake Ford always pays top dollar for your trade. So hurry to Folsom Lake Ford, a 6-time Triple Crown winner for sales and service excellence. That's why they're my trusted dealer, and they should be yours too. Tell them Coach Doug Christie sent you, or shop them online at FolsomLakeFord.com.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
Thunder, feel the thunder.
It ignites something inside of you.
Lightning and the thunder.
Sets alight an elevated state of being. Days are pure exhilaration. And the nights, they're simply electric. See it, hear it, feel it.
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
KHD 1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports 1140.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
2 hours down, 2 to go. Allen Stiles Show, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. About to open back up the phone lines here as we ask a very, very simple question. The Kings are playing the best basketball in the NBA right now. They just beat the Boston Celtics without De'Aaron Fox in Boston, and Boston literally took out their starters. They are absolutely cooking. They are absolutely rolling. So we ask the question now, do the Kings still have to make a move? Should they make a move? Would you make a move right now? You got to wait for them to lose? I'm not making a move right now. Not until they lose a game. I can't. But Monty McNair, you have to lose a game for me to make a move. You cannot make a move right now with this team on the winning streak. Or can you? That's just my opinion. Because they still need to be better. They still need to improve. They're still a bit thin in certain areas. What would you do if you were Monty McNair right now? I said if they beat the Celtics, I would at the very least discuss making a move, and here we are. Not making a move. How does this thing move forward for the Sacramento Kings? Well, if you do get more of good Trey Lyles and healthy Trey Lyles and Devin Carter continuing to learn the game, the league, Keon Ellis flourishing, you get a little bit more from Kevin Huerter off the bench. The starters are good to go there. That's why the Cam Johnson thing has been so funny, because are you moving Malik Monk back to the bench? If you make that deal, what do you do there? But I'm not really too concerned with the starters. It's really more so about the bench. Can the bench give you enough to survive? Is this, as you would say, sustainable? I think that there is a world where you can convince yourself based on price tags, well, you know what? I really like how the team is playing right now. I don't really want to give up any first-round picks. Everyone keeps talking about how the Kevin Huerter and that first-rounder, it's burned us not having that pick. So I don't really want to give up another pick. And you know what? I don't really want to give up Devin Carter or Keon Ellis. We're rolling right now. We've won 7 straight. If we can just get a little bit more from some of the guys on the bench, can we rock and roll here? I think in the short term, I think you could get the 5 seed if you're the Kings. I believe that the Kings, and that's what I had them at. I don't think I had them top 4, but I think a lot of us had the Kings missing the play-in, right? 5 or 6 seed. That's where we had them. It's a roundabout way, but that's where we had them. Then the bigger question becomes, is that good enough for De'Aaron Fox? If that's what you're concerned about. Sam Amick was on the morning show last week. He said in his mind, he thinks De'Aaron feels like they got to at least get to the second round. And we're talking about this season, the second round or the conference finals. So as far as, and obviously you don't know, right? You don't know what you're going to do until you get there. But doing all this winning now just to get out of the basement hasn't really done anything. That's essentially what we're hearing as far as De'Aaron. So there is a move to make when it comes to the immediate future of this team. Because again, one playoff appearance in over a decade, right? So just getting to the playoffs, there's almost 2 standards. There's the Kings standard where, hey, we really just want to get in the playoffs and see what happens. Then there is the alleged De'Aaron Fox standard that we're not really completely sure. We've heard reports. We know they want to compete, but what is competing? What is actually happening here? Brendan Nunez is in the Sack Chat right now saying he's with Sam, that the writing is on the wall for Fox leaving if they don't make a playoff run into the second round at least. So is this team good enough to make that run? I don't know. If they play like this, I feel like they are. If they play like this, they just beat the dang Boston Celtics without De'Aaron Fox. But are you willing to take that chance if you're Monty McNair? And if that's what's being reported, Brendan Nunez just said that in our chat, and Sam Amick, he said that on our station. If second round or conference final, something like second round at least, that is the standard that De'Aaron Fox is looking for in order to re-sign. Are you willing to take that chance and not make a move because of what the Kings are doing right now? Now, you have until February. You still have a couple weeks here. But are you willing to take that chance? Because if you are, that means that you are somewhat comfortable with moving on from De'Aaron Fox. Not to say that you want to, but somewhat comfortable. That is ultimately the question. That is the question. There's the immediate future. Do I think this team can get I think this team can get a 5 seed as is right now. The way they're playing, why not? And the way the rest of the West is a mess, why not? Do I think they're going to go to the second round at least? I don't know. That I can't tell you.
It's a better chance than it was a week ago.
It's a better chance than it was a week ago, but it's still a chance. So you have you get that, Kyle, if you do creep on up, right? And if we're really just looking at the future here, if you do creep on up, and let's just leave as is, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. You do creep on up. You're a 5 seed taking on the Denver Nuggets, and they would have home court if you're the 5 seed. So you think, look, they almost beat the Nuggets. I believe somebody wasn't playing in that game, but they almost beat the Nuggets.
To get to the 5 seed, they would have to finish as a 48-win team.
Which still sounds like a lot. It doesn't sound as much as it did last week, but it still feels like a lot of wins.
The only hard part is like, okay, so the top 4 in the West are head above everyone else, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. The problem is there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams that are all trying to get 5 through 12 that are all within 2.5 games of each other. So this is the tough part, is like, you're going to need a lot of things to break your way in order to separate yourself 2.5 games from 7 different teams. Because if it's 7 teams you're fighting with, you can't bank on, well, everyone's going to have a tough second half to the season. It's like you have to win some games in order to separate yourself from the pack, which is good because they're doing it right now. But to your point, I'd rather be the 6th seed and play the Grizzlies.
I was literally going to say, if you look at this with some of these teams, how they're messing around, like the Rockets and the Grizzlies, honestly, all you have to do is avoid the Thunder or the Nuggets. You really don't want the 5 seed.
Okay, so do you remember during the Beam Team season where
I know where this is going,
where all the national media were saying the Kings are the team you want to hunt in the playoffs?
And they did it again last season with OKC. They said you would want the AT to get OKC, and then OKC won that.
So I think you know where this is going for me. You're hunting the Rockets.
Yes.
That's the team you want if you make it to the playoffs. If you're any of these teams, by the way, if you're the Timberwolves, you want the Rockets. If you're the Clippers, you want the Rockets.
Yes.
The Clippers are a weird team. I'll say the Lakers, you want the Rockets. The Mavericks, you want to hunt the Rockets. That's the team you want to take on, because not only are they overachieving and have never been to the playoffs before with this group, they also don't have a star.
Right.
And when going gets tough in the playoffs, we saw this with Fox going crazy against the Warriors. When the going gets tough, sometimes you got to just have a guy you give the ball to and say, get us a bucket. And the Houston Rockets do not have that.
They don't have that guy. And look, that's what's interesting about how this stuff changes. Okay. Let's think about the names that we've heard connected to the Cam Johnsons of the world. All right. And then let's bring it back to the idea of the Kings not making a move because they're on a 7-game winning streak. Well, let's start right at the top. The Thunder have been connected with Cam Johnson. The Thunder, they're 32-6. The Rockets have been connected with a lot of different pieces. The Rockets might be waiting for this season. I don't really know based on the Rockets' timeline. They want to see what happens with Jalen Green.
Yeah, the Rockets have said they are going to wait to the offseason to make a trade. They might be small buyers, but they're not making a trade.
So you have the Thunder, who they've been connected with Cam Johnson. They're the 1 seed. The Grizzlies have been connected with a couple different players as well. They're the 3 seed. The Nuggets have been connected. They thought maybe Michael Porter Jr. was going to be on the way out. They're the 4 seed. the Mavericks, the Lakers, all these teams are connected. So as much as I'm happy that the Kings are rolling, and I kind of don't want to make a move until they lose a game, not that I'm wanting them to lose a game, all these teams that are also interested in players are in better situations than the Kings. So there's no way, even beating the Celtics and even with the vibes as good as they are, I don't think there's any way Monty McNair can use this as a reason to not make a move when teams in front of you by a lot are even looking to get better. If they're looking to get better, then you should be looking to get better. Because if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. If the Thunder if they're looking to make a move, then who are the Sacramento Kings to not look to make a move because they are on a 7-game win streak?
Yeah, I guess that's true. The one thing I would say is that not every trade makes your team better. So just because the Lakers are on the prowl for another trade, although they might be done after the Finney Smith trade, but just because you make a trade doesn't mean that the Lakers get better. And the flip side is you could make the argument, Monty has made crazier arguments, I would assume, that it doesn't matter what other teams do because we will still be better than them even if they make a trade, which has been true over the last 2 weeks. And if you had said at the time Mike Brown got fired that was the only thing that it was going to take to have the Kings realize their full potential, it would have been a crazy argument at the time. How many people, including ourselves, came on different airwaves and podcasts and places and said this was a terrible move and a complete oversight? And I mean, look at it now. It was kind of the right move. So maybe you could make the argument, it doesn't matter what other teams do, we will still be doing our thing.
That's fine. But again, you missed the playoffs, so you're fighting in that play-in, and other teams, at least you have to at least try to get better. That's the whole thing with the Beam Team season, or after the Beam Team season. You can give Monty the benefit of the doubt and say, hey, they just went to the playoffs, didn't want to mess up the mojo. But the other thing is other teams are at least trying. And you could also say, what if he made a move and it didn't work out? Well, he didn't make a move and it didn't work out. Your coach is now gone. Okay. And De'Aaron Fox is essentially saying, if we don't have a deep run, I might be out of here. 916-339-1140. Let's get to Mitch, who wants to be part of the conversation. What's up, Mitch? What you got for us?
How's it going, Alan? I'd love to see him forward, power forward.
Mm-hmm.
Superstar. That's asking too much. But somebody that can just get me there, help with Lyles. And I'm liking this kid. I want to see more of him. Devin Carter, a little bit of Tim Hardaway. Maybe I'm wishful thinking, but I'm liking it. We're playing a little bit like the old Run DMC, Golden State, but they never had a big man like we do. The bonus is tremendous.
Yeah.
Can I ask you why? When I look at the standings, looking at divisions, other sports you get rewarded for winning your division. I want to see that. I'm tired of seeing these 1 through 6 and then 7 to 10 in shade, but it's going to be the playing game. You can still have it, but can you award if we win the division? Our division's pretty good, but we're knocking each other down, so we're not going to have a lot of wins there. If you win the division, it's attainable. How come they're not? How come they've gone to this like this Sweet 16?
Yeah, thanks for the call, Mitch. Yeah, I mean, I guess a lot of times you forget about the divisions because they don't really do anything.
Yeah, I'll tell you the reason why that they changed it, because I think a decade ago the Spurs won like 56 games and should have been the 3 seed, but because they didn't win their division, they were like the 6 seed. So yeah, divisions are dumb and pointless in the NBA because they don't play each other enough for it to actually be a representation of who the best teams are. Like in the NFL, the division things make sense because 40% of your games every year are against teams in your division. Basketball, they just don't play enough for it to be any representative sample size.
You do get a banner, though. So everybody likes a division banner. Doug, we see you. We'll get to you on the other side. More Kings talk. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
Domantas Sabonis plays here.
He finds Sabonis, put the frosting on the cake, put the cherry on the sundae. Sabonis with a two-hand flush makes it 114-106.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Intercepted by Fred Warner.
Faithful to the Bay.
Fred gets up and runs back the other way, 30.
Don't miss the excitement of 49ers game day. Secure your spot at Levi's Stadium for the 2025 season.
20, one block and he's in.
Season tickets are available now. Inventory is limited, so to speak with a representative, call 415-GO-49ers.
Touchdown!
That's 415-GO-49ers.
San Francisco!
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find. Happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too. Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
The following is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
Do the Kings need to make a move? That is what we're discussing here. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports. 510, shout out to the 510. Trey says, Happy New Year, Stiles. I think they should consider making a move, even if it's around the edges, just to bolster that 3 or 4 position. Yeah, I mean, if you can find someone you want to hold, if now everybody wants to hold on to Trey Lyles, and I get it, you just need more of that position. But now we're down to Kevin Huerter. That's who people are comfortable moving. Kevin Huerter and second rounders. That's it. So if you could find someone, and Kyle and I just discussed, somebody like Larry Nance Jr., who, if the Hawks are interested in bringing Kevin Huerter back, I mean, Trae Young has been doing a lot of passing these days, so you can get Kevin Huerter shooting the basketball. A move like that, it probably feels like you'd want more, right? You've dangled Kevin Huerter for so long. Getting Larry Nance back for him, I guess that money, I don't even know. I know Kevin Huerter is making about $5 million more than Larry Nance Jr. First of all, I don't know if the Hawks would even want to do that. Second of all, do you feel like that's enough? I mean, at this point, if you don't want to add anybody else, and I'm not saying Monty doesn't want to, but if you don't want to add anybody else, and now Trey Lyles is somebody else that you don't want to move, then there's really only one guy who is not really contributing to the same level as others. So that's the only guy that you're going to move, and it's going to be tough to make things work if that's the case.
Particularly because the rest of the team is all on minimum contracts. So it's just hard to trade for anyone of substance. Like, I guess, for example, if you want to Duop Reith, like he's on a minimum contract, so you could trade anyone. You could put, I'm not going to put a name out there, guy 14 on the bench who's making $2 million, you can trade for Duop Reith, and that's fine. But if you want to get in on the $11 million a year for Larry Nance, $26 million for John Collins, or anywhere in between, yeah, you kind of have to give up one of the 9 rotation players.
And right now, nobody wants to do that because the Kings are winning.
Which we said the same thing about OKC last week. OKC can have Cam Johnson tomorrow for a price that literally does not matter, but they'd have to trade Aaron Wiggins. And do you want to mess with the continuity of a team that is on pace to win, I believe, 67 games this year?
If they made a move right now, the Kings did, in the midst of a winning streak, and things went south, I mean, that actually might be more of a fireable offense than not doing anything. And because you got to think these conversations are being had. So we don't know how the Kings took the De'Aaron Fox conversation. And, when his team came up here to talk to to Monty and Wes, we don't know internally how the Kings have been reacting to that. That's what we don't know.
Which is why I'm going to say the same thing I've said literally since December 1st, or December 15th, because that's when all the contracts became available. Wait until February. Don't make a trade until right before the deadline. Okay? Just let it play out. Let them get a sample size. Don't make a trade until the deadline. I was saying that during the losing streak, saying that during the winning streak. Just wait until February to make a trade.
916-339-1140. Let's get to Doug, who wants to be part of the conversation. What's up, Doug? What you got for us?
Gentlemen, how are you? My point is, I'm going to go back to the when Coach Brown was let go and stuff. And I think what had happened there is that the players have decided to tune out their coach. They hit that 6-game losing streak, and players were not buying in. And so when they go in and make that move, I have Mr. Excitement, Doug Christie, coming in and using his motivation and excitement and everything, and got to get with the players and said, okay, this is what we're going to do. And the changes he made, slight as they may be, were enough to go in and get these guys go, let's go. Fox gets hurt. They said, that's right, we're going anyway. And so I think that at that point, that's where things can start being fun again. And when the players are having fun, then it's easier to get to practice and you get on a plane and go to a game and say, hey, man, we can compete. And so that they have the belief in themselves through the motivation of their coach to do that. So now we're at this point where we're going, well, should we or shouldn't we? And I like what Kyle said, is that you wait all the way to the end because you don't want to tip your hand early, and that's good.
Thanks for the call, Doug. Great stuff as always. Yeah, the other thing is Malik Monk now might be one of, I mean, there's some good deals out there. Don't get me wrong. I think Naz Reid is a really good contract, but Malik Monk, that's one of we already knew it was a bit of a steal, and we didn't necessarily know what all was out there, but there are a couple places where we thought Malik was going to get super cashed out. Malik Monk now turns into one of the best deals in the league. I mean, it's not even close. And obviously as a sixth man, you still were getting that good deal. But as a starter, I mean, I think his value is just, it's honestly hard to measure. So you have a guy who is continuing to get better each and every day. And there are some people out there that will have the conversation. Hey, if De'Aaron wants to go, I like Malik Monk. I'm a pizza guy. Yes, thank you. I actually had the Malik Monk pizza pizza yesterday.
I saw that picture of it.
Yeah.
Can we get maybe next segment? Let's
Yes.
do a full Allen Stiles foodie review, because you want to be one of those food experts.
That's
right.
right.
We talked about
No,
this.
I am a food expert.
Yeah.
I am.
You want to be a food influencer.
That's right.
That's what you said.
And,
so next segment, we'll get the full Allen Stiles review of the Malik Monk special.
There you go. Thank you, Malik Monk. I mean, it turns into one of the best contracts in the NBA. And I think it was already close to that. And now as a starter and what he's been able to do, some of these numbers are just ridiculous. So you have a lot of guys that are just taking their games to the next level. And one of those guys who is not necessarily taking his game to the next level, but returning to the level that we wanted to see. And I would say taking it to a new level in terms of the defense. Welcome back, Keegan Murray. Let's talk Keegan on the other side. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Oh, what's up, Sacramento?
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Progressive presents Renter's MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Joe Fallon's bedroom mini fridge. Sure, this pint-sized chiller's max capacity is 3 soda cans, but what it lacks in stature, it makes up in cooling strength. Each beverage a perfect 37 degrees every time. And the 2 feet Joe walks to get a drink, priceless. That's why his mini fridge is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Are you tired of your tee shots ending up in the adjoining fairway while the rest of your foursome is hitting it down the middle? Well, experts will tell you that being properly fitted for golf clubs will help you strike your drive center cut. The Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio and its team of trained PGA professionals are ready to help you get rid of your banana balls and duck hooks. Hagen Oaks Indoor-Outdoor Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
This year, resolve to save on the all-new 2025 Silverado at Maida Chevy with $8,000 off MSRP after rebates on over 30 new half-ton Silverado LT and RST after rebates. And Maida Chevy has one of the largest selections of new 2025 Silverados in the Sacramento area. $8,000 off new 2025 Silverado at Maida Chevy. Now that's big, huge. See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Not available with special financing, lease, and some other offers. Lease no 2011 or newer Chevrolet.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Hoblit Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram Center. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
You know, when it's all on the line, you need a big-time closer, and that's especially true when it comes to your garage door. And that's why I recommend National Garage Door, 638-4554. Whitey Gleason here for National Garage Door. Whether you're looking to repair an existing door or get a brand new one installed, you need National Garage Door. Family-owned and operated. They've been around since 1974 because service is their number one priority. National Garage Door are the region's BSE. It's broken spring experts. Styles, prices, and quality of the new doors will amaze you. Our garage door was starting to sound kind of, and that's not good. So Kevin from National Garage Door came out. He said patching up the old one was an option, but we're getting a new garage door. We're pretty happy about that. National Garage Door sells quality Rainer branded garage doors. They offer sales, service, and installation on all residential and commercial doors and operators. If you have garage door needs, old ones coming apart, or you're looking to improve your curb appeal, let National Garage Door come through for you in the clutch and be your closer. 638-4554, National Garage Door.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
I tried the Malik Monk pizza guy.
I'm a pizza guy.
Pizza guy's pizza. It was pretty good.
Do they call it the Malik Monk special?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yes. My buddy ordered it. Shout out to my buddy.
You're not even going to put his name out there? Just your buddy?
I never know how to do this stuff. You know what I mean?
I'm a pizza guy.
Shout out to Jose. Jose got the pizza. We were enjoying. Well, and we're going to get into some NFL talk because speaking of pizza, everybody says that football is like pizza. It's always good no matter what. And the pizza guy, the Malik Monk special was really good. It's my first time having pizza guys.
Alan, come on. You want to be a food influencer here. You got to really...
Yeah, we had a good crust on it. We went sausage and pepperoni on one. The other was just pepperoni. Not too much cheese. I don't need the extra cheese, all right? Like I'm not a huge cheese guy. I don't need a ridiculous amount of cheese.
So what's the star of the pizza for you? Is it the sauce? Is it the crust? What is the star of your pizza?
I like a good crust.
Crust is the
star?
star?
I like a good crust. Normally I like to have some veggies on my pizza. Some onions, some bell peppers. That's where I'm at with it.
Spinach?
I'll do spinach.
Olives?
I'll do olives.
Okay.
I'll not all at the same time, but I'll do it. And yes, someone said, "Did you get the basket, the one with the hoop?" Yes. Check out my social media. It's got Malik's face on it. I don't think I stayed around long enough to pop out. I had to take baby Silas. She had to nap, but I'm sure they popped out the box. And
you could, do a little hoop with it.
I love in the corner how it says basketball not included. You got to go get a basketball from somewhere.
Got to make sure they're not expecting a little. They should have like a little like container of little like cheap plastic basketballs.
Right. You don't have a ball for me. Now I got to go to Big Five or wherever it is.
Not like you have to give it to someone, but just like if someone wants it, they can just pick one up on the way out.
So I am definitely going to get the pizza and undefeated when Allen gets a Malik Monk special. Undefeated.
I'm a pizza guy.
Thank you, Malik
Well,
Monk.
we need a final grade. What the final grade on the pizza out of 5 stars?
Out of 5 stars, I'll give the pizza. I'll give it a 4. A 4.
A 4? No 4 point anything? Just
I was going to say 4.2, but Amid Rock is saying they sell the ball for an additional $5.99. I don't know if that's a joke or not.
I think it's a joke, but it's a very good one.
There you go, Amid Rock.
I'm a pizza guy.
Yeah, 4.2. That's what I'm giving. That's what I'm giving the pizza. And speaking of pizza, yeah, I real quick, and we'll get back into the Kings. When it comes to this football thing, those games stunk. And this is what I've always said with football, because a lot of people like to dunk on the NBA, and they'll say, "Oh, well, the NBA needs to copy the NFL. Look how well the NFL is doing everything. The NFL never does anything wrong when it comes to the game and how it's marketed, and people love to dunk on the NBA." I will say this. I honestly just think that a lot of people simply like football more than the NBA, or simply more than basketball. So you're always going to think that the NFL is doing things correctly because you just like watching football, because that wasn't a great product this weekend. Those games weren't good, but I am not seeing anybody say that the NFL has a problem with the whatever. It's just, no, those games just stunk, but it's still football, so it's all great because you just like football more than basketball.
Well, there's a reason why, and this has been the case in the past, but specifically now that they do the quote-unquote super wild card weekend, and now that we're in year 5, I can kind of tell that it's like bad teams make the playoffs in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like, bad teams are able to still make the playoffs because there are too many playoff spots in the NFL. And additionally, I think the thing that's changed is like in the AFC. For the past 5 years, it's been the same 3 teams. Mm-hmm. It's Kansas City, Buffalo, Baltimore. Swap in Cincinnati for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
It's been those same teams basically are always the ones are great. And so it's like, I don't care if the Dolphins make the playoffs. I know the Dolphins are not good enough to go into Buffalo and win a playoff game. I know that the Broncos have no shot going into Buffalo to win a playoff game. I know that Pittsburgh has no shot going into Baltimore to win a playoff game. So the combination of, even in the NFC, it's like, the Eagles are going to be there. The Niners are usually going to be there. And that the Packers are usually going to be good. So it's like the same teams are always making deep playoff runs. And the only game that was a saving grace was the Commanders and the Bucks, which again, Washington is probably going to get clapped by Detroit next week.
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen. Detroit is banged up, but ultimately, yeah, you're watching. It's almost similar to what I've said about the NBA, how people like to watch what they believe could be history, right? So when you were watching LeBron, he is who he is, unless LeBron finds a way back into a finals. However, whatever you think as far as the LeBron Michael Jordan conversation probably isn't changing. Steph Curry kind of has his own lane, but Steph still brings in a lot of views. But besides that, you were watching Kobe because you wanted to see, could he be better than Jordan? You were watching Jordan because he was Jordan. You were watching LeBron because it was, hey, could he be the best? Could he be better than Jordan? And now there are a bunch of stars that there's no real lane of them being the best at anything. Right. So now it's okay. Well, Giannis is going to have his time in the sun, but Giannis is never going to be considered a greatest anything. You had Shaq, the greatest big man. You had conversations like that. Watching the NFL this weekend, yeah, you're watching a bunch of teams besides, the Bills and the Ravens, where it's, the Texans, that game, neither of those teams are doing anything.
Yeah.
Right.
But
maybe it'll be a good game, and it wasn't, but neither of these teams are doing anything. A lot of people I believe the Chargers were actually the favorites. So there's just a bunch of games where it doesn't ultimately matter, but people will still watch the Super Bowl, or they'll watch when Patrick Mahomes takes the field. Why? Because Patrick Mahomes could be the best ever.
Well, I will say that I think this is just a wild card specific thing, because this upcoming weekend, the divisional round, all bangers. Every game is going to be excellent.
Yeah.
Washington, Detroit, no matter what happens, is going to be excellent.
Right.
The Eagles against Vikings or Rams, that's probably the worst game of the weekend. Texans, Kansas City, great. Baltimore, Buffalo might be the best game of the entire season. Like Lamar Jackson versus Josh Allen with those legacies on the line. Next weekend, every game is going to be a banger. This weekend, just bad teams happen to make the playoffs. And I got the only thing I came for this weekend, which is the Chargers being embarrassed.
Yeah.
Always going to make me smile. Always going to make me smile watching the Chargers get embarrassed.
Fair enough. 916-339-1140. Javi wants to be a part of the Kings conversation. What's up, Javi? What you got for us?
How you guys doing today?
Good. How you doing?
All right. So I feel like obviously some things have changed, because obviously the Kings have had success in the last, week or so, 7 straight, obviously beating the Celtics. And, at this point, I feel like we should make it to where I think we should just do Kevin Huerter solid. And I think the best way to get it for somebody buying low with nothing but upside, would be acquiring Kuzma and sending Kevin Huerter back to, Maryland area, Washington, D.C. You package him with Kobe Jones, McLaughlin. I think you can get Kuzma for just one first, because of the lack of, productivity he's had this season. Put him on your bench as your sixth man and or your second forward. Because at the likes of Cam Johnson or, John Collins, you're going to have to package Trey Lyles. At the value you're getting him right now at $8 million a year is expiring. He's not going to command $15 million a year in free agency, but I feel like, unless he falls off a cliff, you definitely can, I think, re-sign him for 10 to 11 million, multiple year deal in the all season, 11 million per, for 33, something of that nature. But I just feel like Kyle Kuzma can be had right now for him being in an off year, and his salary is definitely team and franchise friendly with how it declines and de-escalates over the next 3 seasons or so, sir.
Thanks for the call, Javi. Yeah, people on the Sack chatter were curious what was going on Javi's.
What? Yeah, I got kind of scared for a second. It sounded like a toilet was flushing, and then
there was banging.
Yeah, someone knocking on a door.
Right.
It sounded like there were children in the background. I'm glad the Sack chat's got jokes.
Always. Look, as far as what Javi's saying for Kuzma, I do think that you might be able to buy low because of injury, and just like I've been saying, they waited. The Wizards just waited too long. But I don't know if you're going to be able to buy that low. So basically, Kevin Huerter and a first for Kuzma. I don't think you can buy that low. I mean, I know the Kings don't really have any seconds, but I believe Javi said Colby Jones or somebody else like that. Yeah, I think you could probably buy low. I just don't know how low, and that feels like that might be too low. And then when it comes to getting Kyle Kuzma, I think a lot of people have thoughts on Kyle Kuzma, whether they think he's overrated or maybe could mess up the flow or the vibe of the team right now. I feel like that is not a popular pick. And again, since this team is winning, nobody wants to to bring in a strong personality or somebody that's going to need to get theirs. And Kuzma is not really the guy who's just going to sit in the corner and shoot threes, or that's not really how you utilize him. So I think that's the interesting thing. What is it that the Kings actually need right now? What is it that they actually need right now? We know they need to keep winning, and they're doing it by playing some of the best two-way basketball in the NBA right now. How good is it? We'll tell you on the other side. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Live and local.
With everything 49ers.
Intercepted by Fred Warner. Dives from the end zone. Touchdown! San Francisco. Lob ball. George went up and caught the ball. Touchdown!
The 49ers play on Sacktown Sports 1140.
For a precision-crafted performance, the decision is easy. A new Acura from Acura of Stockton. Get the driving experience you've been waiting for in a new Acura. Get the best selection and customer service you deserve from Acura of Stockton. Shop in person or use our online express store at AcuraofStockton.com. Acura of Stockton will buy your trade, even if you don't buy from us. Don't settle for less than precision-crafted performance of a new Acura from Acura of Stockton and AcuraofStockton.com.
California's largest sportsman's expo is back Thursday through Sunday at Cal Expo in Sacramento. NorCal's largest gathering for anglers, hunters, boaters, RVers, and off-roading enthusiasts. Buy the latest gear, discover the best destinations, and check out the all-new, fully redesigned Toyota Land Cruiser. Your life outdoors at the International Sportsman's Expo, Thursday through Sunday at Cal Expo in Sacramento. More info at sportsexpos.com.
Were you uninvited to game night? Do you play board games with the ferocious intensity of an iron-fisted oligarch? Have friends left game night asking, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. Right now, during Mattress Firm's semi-annual sale and clearance, save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic, plus get a $300 instant gift. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Morning, Paula.
Morning, Ron.
Another day in Adminville, am I right?
What are you working on? Oh!
You okay?
Your tabs. You have so many open.
Yeah, gotta order lunch for the big client meeting. With great responsibility comes tabs.
I can help. Close all those tabs and open just one, easycater.com. Online ordering from local restaurants, plus tools to save time, stay on budget, track expenses.
One tab to rule them all.
EasyCater, the smarter way to order food for work. Order now at easycater.com.
There's no better time than now to get yourself into a brand new Jeep because it's Jeep Adventure Days at Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, offering the best deals in town and a selection other dealers are jealous of. Stop on by. They're just off of Business 80 across from Hagen Oaks Golf Complex. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
In 15 minutes, we are going to replay Coach Doug Christie's interview on the morning show, 1 o'clock. We will play that for you. In case you missed it this morning, great stuff from the guys, Carmichael, Dave, Jason Ross, as always. So that's coming up in about 15 minutes as we continue the conversation on what the Kings have been doing while on this crazy 7-game winning streak. The Kings are 7th in offensive rating, 3rd. Yeah, you heard that right. 3rd in defensive rating during this stretch. Only the Oklahoma City Thunder rank higher than the Kings in both categories. They are just insane. Net rating since December 30th. The Thunder plus 15.7, the Pacers plus 11.8, and the Kings are at 11 even as the number 3 team in the NBA. Is all of this sustainable? Well, I believe that some of it is, and some of it is not. Now, defensively, the way they're going about their business, I do think that's sustainable. You're just competing, right? And a note that's come out from Brendan Nunez and some other members of the media, and the team is now talking about it, is how the practice schedules are different. And maybe when we would see the team maybe get off to a slower start or blow a lead towards the end of the game, maybe it feels a bit simple to say it could be because of, their legs. But now you're seeing them get after everything, really destroy some of the narratives that we had on the Sacramento Kings, and they're doing it night in, night out from the beginning of tip-off. And Doug Christie is saying, look, guys, I won't make you practice as much, but when that ball tips off, you're going to give me every single part of you and everything you have until the game ends. And I do feel like that's a fair way to go about it, because it can't be both, or it was unrealistic. Doug, let's just be honest here. If there's somebody, your boss or whoever it is, you feel like they're making all the right decisions. You're watching, this is somewhere that Doug wants to get, but it doesn't mean that everything that they're doing is perfect. So Doug was watching, assessing, maybe thinking, whenever I get the chance to be coach, I don't know that I would practice the guys as much as Mike does. No disrespect to Mike, but I don't know that I would run my team the same way Mike runs his team. Then you bring in the fact that these guys were losing. That essentially helped give Doug this opportunity. If they were playing like this, Doug Christie would not be the head coach right now. Mike Brown would still be the head coach. So now he's assessing, okay, well, this is something that I always thought maybe I'd do differently or maybe would work differently. Let's try it out. And it's been working so far. So other things he learned under Mike Brown, I'm sure he'll tell you that, but he was also assessing things that he maybe just didn't agree with what Mike Brown was doing. And I don't know that he was alone, to be completely honest with you. So we're seeing this from Doug Christie, some of the differences as the simplifying everything. Did he talk to some players? I'm not going to name names, but were there conversations had? Sometimes I just wish things were a little bit more simple. A lot of times when you have an assistant coach, very similar. I've joked before, like the cool uncle that comes to talk to you, or a substitute teacher, you're more willing to tell them things than you're willing to tell your actual teacher or tell your parent or tell the actual coach. Maybe Doug got more insight as the assistant coach. And, there were some things he maybe chose to tell Mike Brown and some things he didn't. So he's assessing all of that. And I think we're seeing, again, these are some things that I want to try out and see if the guys are going to, react positive to it. And they are right now. 916-339-1140. Let's get to Mark, who wants to be part of the conversation. What's up, Mark? What you got for us?
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about Mike Brown.
Okay.
I just wanted to say, he was clearly the problem, and things that a change had to be made after that Pistons loss.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect Mike Brown to get fired. I didn't like the hire personally when Mike Brown got hired, but I literally didn't expect him to get fired. I think it's obvious he was the reason the players probably just got tired of him.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, that's just what it seemed like. And Doug Christie used to play, and everybody was just comfortable. It's just a comfortable situation. If you're going to work every day and you're getting bickered at, you're probably not going to perform that well on the court.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thanks for the call, Mark. I think it's kind of chicken or the egg, right? They're losing games, so now Mike is probably sounding more annoying. But if they were winning games, he wouldn't have to sound as annoying. So I don't know that he is the biggest reason. Honestly, I can't really put my finger on it. I think that everything just ran its course. I do think that Mike Brown will probably get a head coaching job again in the NBA. And I think, he can turn around another team in another situation, but it ran its course here. Yeah, I still feel, I don't know if uncomfortable is the word, but when Mark was talking and he said it's obvious that Mike Brown was the problem, or I'm paraphrasing. Yeah, that still feels off to me. That still feels off to me, but ultimately, until they make, if they're not gonna lose another game, could it be less about Mike Brown being off than Doug Christie being on, right? Like, I don't know. Like I said, bringing in JJ Redick, right? If they fire Mike Brown and bring in JJ Redick, would the Kings have still been doing this? Guys that we think are good coaches, right? JJ, or you don't know about JJ Redick, but I'm saying a new voice. So JJ Redick, Chauncey Billups, guys like this, former players. How much of this was Mike Brown being wrong versus Doug Christie being right?
Yeah, and I think with Mike, the worst thing that went against him was just all the close losses, right?
Mhm.
Because we were talking about it all through December. Like, just because the team is 13-17 or whatever it was, that didn't mean that they were that bad, because they were still top 10 in offensive rating. They were top half in the league in defensive rating. They were 11th in net rating at that point. Since Doug's taken over, they're still third in net rating, right? But you wouldn't expect that a team that was 0-6 in Mike's last 6 games,
right?
Including the Laker game, 0-5 in Mike's last 5 games, to now 7-0 since then, that the difference between them wouldn't be the 11th best net rating in the league and the 3rd best net rating in the league, right? You wouldn't expect such a dramatic change in results. So I think the close losses were the thing that made it easier to move on from Mike, but it's not like this was a 12 seed in the West when they were by record the 12th seed in the West, but they weren't playing to the level of a 12th seed in the West when they fired Mike. So that's the thing that's interesting. And like we said earlier, I just am very curious, what is it about Doug Christie specifically that is drawing inspiration for the Kings, or the reason why they're winning all these games now? Like, what is the thing that switched? I'm just curious what that actually is.
It was the close losses and the bad losses. That's what Mike Brown, that was his undoing.
That's what made it easier to fire him.
Yes, the close losses and the bad losses. I will say this too. There were a lot of conversations whenever a team would lose, or whenever the Kings would lose to a bad team, or maybe there was a bad loss. There was always a lot of, hey, I'm telling them what to do, or they need to find it from within. Right? Mike Brown would say that a lot. And whether it's a conversation, whether there were team meetings, whether there were kind of just things that happened without Mike Brown, or in a post-game speech, whatever it was, Mike Brown spent a lot of time saying, there's only so much I can do. They need an internal leader or somebody, and he would really lean on De'Aaron Fox there. And I think the thing that I don't want to say bugged me, but the reality is the number one thing that people will tell you as a manager is KYP, right? Know your personnel. And I think that Mike, even with all the experience he had, he didn't really know his personnel. And I don't know if he ever would have been able to give them what they needed, but it's very clear that Doug is not leaving the team to its own devices to self-motivate. Doug realizes that this team doesn't really have that kind of dog motivator guy right now, so Doug is being that guy, right? Whereas Mike Brown, there was a lot of, I'm coaching, but I can only do so much to a level, and then somebody else has to take over. Doug is saying, really, there are no lines, right? I'll get in there with you like a player. That's just what it is. That's who he is. So I just feel like there were times where Mike Brown didn't really know his personnel as it pertains to what they needed to get over the hump, and Doug Christie is just taking it to another level and just saying, hey, whatever it is in terms of needing a leader, I'll be that. That's what I'll be.
Yeah, and that line has gotten, I won't say blurred, but like you hear players talking about Malik saying a week ago, he's a player, he's a former player, so
right.
We just relate to him better. Kevin Herter saying, the shorter practices are doing better for our bench guys. Domas being real quick to show Doug credit.
Going into the third quarter.
Yep.
the third quarter.
Yes.
Remember that? We got Malik. You've got Herder saying the same thing. You've got Domas saying the same thing. At a certain point, you listen to what the guys are saying, and you start to learn some of the reasons for why they're performing better. But I wouldn't have suspected that the difference in minutes for Keon Ellis and length of practices and some of the messaging would be the difference of completely out of the playoffs to one of the top 3 teams in the NBA over the last 2 weeks. I mean, the turnaround is dramatic, and my brain keeps saying, I know it's happening, but I just have a hard time attributing all of it to Doug, right?
Yeah.
There has to be something specific happening with that team, and I just don't know what it is, which is sometimes exciting that you don't know why, but it's just happening and you get to enjoy it.
Domantas Sabonis has been named Western Conference Player of the Week. So shout out to Domas. That's what happened when you grab 28 rebounds. 28 rebounds. So shout out to Domantas Sabonis. Speaking of Doug Christie was on with the morning guys with Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross, and we have that interview for you in case you missed it this morning. I know I might have been sleeping too, so in case you missed it, if you're going to miss it again, if you're about to hop out the car, whatever the case may be, you can check it out on the Sacktown Sports app or YouTube, but we're going to play it for you when we return. Doug Christie joins Sacktown Sports 1140. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sacktown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
Whether you're ordering wings for the game, whipping up a 7-layer dip, or ordering pizza, there's something about football that makes you want to eat. And this football season, Uber Eats has the best deals on game day food. No matter what you're craving, from 2-for-1 pizza to buy one, get one wings, Uber Eats will be dropping new deals each week, all season long. Uber Eats, official on-demand delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
My good friends over at Jiffy Lube have an amazing New Year oil change special going on right now for the month of January. Get a full synthetic oil change starting at just $76.99 with a $33 off coupon online. That's right, starting at just $76.99 for a full synthetic motor oil change with a $33 off online coupon from JiffyLube.com today. Offer valid for up to 5 quarts of premium motor oil, specialty vehicles, and diesel extra. Happy New Year from Jiffy Lube.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find. Happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too. Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop. Thunder, feel the thunder.
It ignites something inside of you.
Lightning and the thunder.
Sets alight an elevated state of being. Days are pure exhilaration. And the nights, they're simply electric. See it, hear it, feel it.
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
This year, resolve to save on the all-new 2025 Silverado at Maida Chevy with $8,000 off MSRP.
That tangible difference, not just the results on the floor, but with your guys kind of feeding off that same kind
Sacramento.
of
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
At healthforcalifornia.com. Get a quote in 30 seconds. Find top carriers like Anthem, Kaiser, Blue Shield, and more.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
As promised, if you missed the Doug Christie interview right here on Sacktown Sports this morning with Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross, we have it for you. Here it is. It's great stuff. I can't wait to listen again myself. Here you go.
I've seen some stuff that DeMar was asked, and he talked about when he showed the video of me playing and stuff, and kind of his mindset behind it, which is humbling. But we talked about right from the very beginning, like there are certain things that I'm gonna require. Like we don't want to lose, but you're gonna lose sometimes, and that's part of what we do. But the one thing that we can control is how we play. When our fans come to see us, when they tune in to see us, what they see and the pride that they take away from what they see and what they experience. And if we're doing that and a team is better than you and they beat you, then you know what? We're okay with that. We'll lick our wounds, we'll go back, and we'll figure it out. But if we play at that level consistently, and I think that that's what you're speaking to, Jason, if we play at that level, we give ourselves a chance. We can look ourselves in the mirror. I'm hoping that our fans are extremely proud of us. Our organization is extremely proud of us. And from there, we can move on and continue to grow and get better.
I want to play a very quick 10-second clip from your one of your pressers that really spoke to me, and I think a lot of the fan base. Here it is.
It's together. It's like I'm not separate as a coach. They're not separate as players. They have their room. I have my room, but at the same time, we are together as one. And it's
a fist. And you've had a couple that you've dropped. I don't want to get the phrasing wrong, but it was like, we want to make people that come in here uncomfortable or not have a good, you have this way, Doug, of I know you're not a Sacramento native, but this is your home, being able to boil things down so that we understand them. And it sure looks like the players are kind of getting that same gist.
I would agree with you. I think that like messaging a lot of times it needs to be simple. I think that there's a human aspect that you got to tap into. I think that you guys know like the mental side is kind of what I dig. And I think that the mind controls what comes into physical manifestation. So if our minds are on the same page and there's an aggressive mindset and all these things, then physically that's what we're going to manifest. And that's what I try to impart to them is like, whatever we do, we're going to do it with force and aggressiveness. And that's how it's going to be. We're not going to try to adjust. We want people to adjust to us. Now, with all that being said, we play against players at this level and teams at this level that are just crazy good, and you have to adjust. But this is our mindset. This is how we want to approach it. And if we continue on doing that, like we give ourselves the best chance at winning. And as we continue to, like I said, formulate our identity, that's what we want to do on a night-to-night basis.
You know, Doug, there's so many winning elements on this streak, whether it's, the beautiful game you guys play against the Warriors
the huge comeback. I believe that was Philly. There's been a lot of things. But the fourth quarters in a lot of these games, you guys have been great closers offensively and defensively. And if we just go to the 5-second count you guys get yesterday, that looked to be a play that you enjoyed just about as much as anybody. What have you felt and seen with your team in closing time in this win streak?
Concentrate fire on the target. Enemy battleship sunk. Enemy battleship detected. Enemy submarine spotted. Attention, reporting the target position. Enemy heavily damaged. Enemy battleship detected. Enemy battleship foundered. I need intelligence data.
You know, it's interesting because as I think about it, like a lot of things that I think you guys have been around me. I talked to our fans when I was on radio and television. Like, I can't talk about all that and then like not do it. So part of what I want is I want pressure. I want physicality. And those things, when you add them up, they equal to digging into an opponent's legs and making them tired. And that means that we have to be in better shape, and we're working on that because that's part of what I'm asking them to do at a really high level. But I think some of what you see is when we get to the fourth quarter, the team starts to get tired. That's just whether you look at MMA or you look at boxing or you look at tennis, with Rafi Nadal and those heavy balls that he just pounds down the line, and all of a sudden guys are backing off the line because he just continues. Like, that's the pressure that I want to apply. And you can't do it every single time, but the more times that we're able to accomplish that, we're hoping that in the fourth quarters, teams begin to feel us more and more.
Doug Christie with us, head coach of the Sacramento Kings. Doug, you know, one of the first things, and there have been already some signature moments for you, was Keon in the Miami game, I think, missing the front end of 2 free throws. And as he was coming off the court, you hugged him. And, you know, Keon Ellis has been a big topic amongst fans this year. And maybe we read too much into it. You know, we're all dramatic, but it seemed like that was so welcome on his end to have an ex-player come up. Hey, man, been there. You're good. We're good. Don't worry about it. Go out there. Let's win this game. And I imagine that's some of the stuff you draw from your playing career that really helps you in that communication with those players.
Yeah, those are moments like, I didn't say this, but funny, I was like, yo, man, I missed 2. You only missed 1. You did better than I did. Because I've been in that moment before, but really, I can't remember exactly what I said, but it was just along the lines like, we got you.
Right.
Don't worry about that. We're going to miss shots, bro. It's part of what we do. But now we're going to demonstrate to you what team is all about. So good job. And that was really it. It wasn't more than that. Just trying to continue to put wind underneath his wings and help him to soar.
And we talked about that the following day, Doug. And at one point when we were talking about you hugging Keon and after the free throw, Christopher Lodge said, well, Doug knows something about missing free throws. And I just want to say, I know you're head coach. I know.
And I'm not going to say what I really want to say to Chris.
I get it.
You look at him right now. Just look across. Just look him right in the eye.
We are.
And he understands exactly what I'm saying.
He knows what you're saying. Oh, my goodness. Doug, I'm thinking back to when we worked together here. I don't remember you ever needing smelling salts to get going.
Yeah.
What's going on here before the game?
Listen, if you've been in a car accident, don't call an attorney. Use this AI app instead. That's what I did, and that's how.
Actually, I've done it all the time. It's just no one paid attention to me when I was in the other seat, and now like the camera's on you. But just to wake up, lock in, man. Here we go, and it just wakes me up. Sometimes I get a little bit too much of a dose, and it can make my eyes water. But for the most part, it's just to wake up and I'm here, and we're here, and here we go.
I know weirdly enough, we didn't plan this, but a few of these questions have involved Keon Ellis. I'm going to ask another one, not necessarily about him, but again, we're talking so much about messaging, about philosophy, about the things that you're bringing to the table and trying to infect players with. There was one thing you mentioned, or maybe it was Keon in his interview, I can't remember, where Devin Carter was on the floor, the rookie, and Keon Ellis is a guy that struggled with his playing time for some of the year and, is still trying to get his footprint. And he said something to you, I'm paraphrasing, like, hey, let the young man cook out there. And you had said, like, well, I was just coming over to tell him the same thing. That's that. You guys used to always say on those 0-2 teams, Doug, that you could pass the ball knowing that you were almost certainly getting the ball back, that you had that trust with your teammates on the floor to know that everybody was unselfish, everybody was pulling for the other guy. And I felt like in a weird way, that little interaction was a little part of what you experienced as a player, that unselfishness.
Yeah, it's really what I expect out of them, and I'm hoping that they expect out of each other. Like, listen, if I was going to the table and Bobby hit a couple shots real quick, I'm turning around and look at coach like, you want me to go for Mike or come back to the bench? Because my man is cooking and there's no need to take him out. And that's kind of, because when you're in that position, you want somebody to do that for you. But to Keon's credit, I was coming to tell him, give me a couple minutes or, just hold on, because it was his time to go in and he knew I was coming to him, but he was already coming to me like, yo, the young fella's rolling, let him roll. And I to myself, I said, that's an incredible teammate, and that's not like the first time it's been done. Malik's done it many times. Like, people have done it, but under my watch, to see him in that moment be selfless for the team is like super huge. Those are the things that I think gain each other's trust. And when you gain each other's trust, things on the floor they flow differently.
Doug, knowing you here, how hard you worked to be great at radio, what you did for television, when you took on golf and to work on that, you kind of just have the gift of work ethic and drive and all that. And so now I know you've wanted to be a coach. I know you want to be successful. How much of your drive, though, is back to the unfinished business of that group that you guys were so close with?
Just to say, golf didn't work, by the way.
Oh, it did. It's on hold now.
Tom Morton's listening right now, I promise.
Yeah. I'm going to dive in. We're in the room. We're locked in. I got, games on the board. We're typing. We're trying to figure out. I got a crew that I work with to make sure that I'm comfortable with the game plan before we go. Then we get with all the coaches, see what's what. And by the time I hit the floor, I got my game card. I'm comfortable with it. That doesn't mean it's always going to work, but got some really good dudes that I trust a lot, and just try to do any and everything. They turn over every rock. They ask the tough questions.
Great stuff from the guys. We will break down everything Doug Christie had to say and more when we return. Allen Stiles Show, Sacktown Sports.
Time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
The only place you'll find Malik Monk is Sacktown Sports.
Oh my, what an athletic move that time by Malik Monk.
Hey Sacramento, it's Malik Monk, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729 or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Hi, I'm Justin Gingery from the law firm of Gingery, Hammer & Associates. When you have been injured by the fault of another, you will want advice you can trust. If you know an attorney you can trust, I hope you call that person. But if you don't, please call me. I promise I will be the attorney you can trust, along with my entire team. I have been helping accident survivors recover compensation for their injuries for 25 years, and we can help you. There is no charge for calling. If you have an injury, just call Gingery.
To the baseline, two defenders there, tries to split him, ball knocked away, grabbed by Sabonis, feeds it out to Ellis, steps into the three, he's got the triple. Oh, that was sweet. That was nasty. Doug Christie's body reaction, watching those shots fall, is something special. The Kings on top by one at 114-113. Still have 5.5 minutes to go in regulation.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
Great stuff from the morning show. Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross and Christopher Ladd having some fun with Doug Christie. A lot of great stuff there as they then went into the direction of the smelling salts. Kyle, have you ever smelled smelling salts?
No, we have not. Although I found out you can get them at like a Walgreens or a CVS type of store, apparently. But
yes.
No, I have never done the smelling salts before.
Okay. I have once. And yeah, I mean, it'll get you going.
Oh, I wanted to do the smelling salts after the whole Doug thing. I just didn't want it enough to actually get off the couch and go buy some.
So they're going to do the smelling salts on the morning show. They asked me if I wanted to do it with them. I said yes. We'll see if they actually remember to do it with me or if they just do it before we have crosstalk. But yeah, I mean, I like it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm pleading ignorance on this on the front end. Smelling salts are not something where it's like you just buy them one at a time, right?
I didn't buy them.
Okay.
My buddy had them.
But like, it's like it has 12 or 15 different uses, right? It's not like you hit it one time and then the smelling salts are gone. Right?
I think you hit it more than one time.
That's what I assume,
Yeah.
but then it wouldn't matter if they do it because they're not going to use so much of the smelling salt that there won't be enough for the rest of us.
Yeah, you can hit it a couple times. I'm pretty sure here. So, smelling salts coming up.
I just have no idea how it actually works. So we're gonna find out together.
Yeah, there's gonna be some science involved.
We're both gonna hit it and then figure it out for ourselves.
That's right. Great stuff from the guys, and a lot of it just coming back to the fact that Doug played and they're rolling right now. And, he says, hey, when it comes to Keon and he missed that first free throw, then made the second. I've been in situations like that. So I do think that right now, and going back to a caller that we had before the break, when it seems like it's all about the fact that they moved on from Mike Brown. I think that's a lot of it. I think moving on from Mike Brown is obviously a lot of it. He was not perfect. He also wasn't a terrible coach. So let's not do this thing now where there are certain people that never really liked Mike Brown. I think our caller Mark was one of those people, or not to say they don't like him, but didn't like him for the job. Let's not now turn Mike Brown into he was a trash coach. Let's be better than that, okay? Because they went to the playoffs a couple years ago and it didn't work out, but they took the Warriors to game 7, right? It was a really good series. he brought the Kings from the depths of you know where. So let's not go too far. I don't think I agree that Mike Brown was the reason, because I think I'm also wanting to give Doug Christie credit by saying, yes, they moved on from Mike Brown, and it seems like it was the right decision. But as much as moving on from Mike Brown may have been the right decision, Doug Christie being selected might have more to do with this 7-game winning stretch. Like if we did a pie chart, we'll do a blame pie or whatever it is, or credit cake, if you will. If you were to ask the question, 7-game winning streak, what percentage of this is because they fired Mike Brown versus what percentage of this is because they named Doug Christie the interim head coach? I'd like to believe, and I'm choosing to believe, that more of it is because they chose Doug Christie versus just simply moving on from Mike Brown. Like if they had made me the coach, I don't think things would have changed very much.
Well, hold on there, because again, if Doug Christie has taught us anything, the pipeline of KHTK midday host to Sacramento Kings head coach is well and alive. So give it 4 years, you might be
there. You go,
the next Doug Christie coaching the Sacramento Kings.
That's right, and I think a lot of people hope that Doug Christie is still coaching at that time. From the 209, hey Allen, I don't like Mike Brown, and he's a trash coach. All right. Thank you, 209.
Well, that answered your question. I see a 209 on the call line, and I'm scared to pick it up.
Thank you, 209.
But
there's one person.
I will also say I want to and feel like it's more about Doug than it is about Mike, but I just don't know.
We don't know yet.
I don't know why the Kings are playing like maybe the best two-way team in the NBA, not named the Oklahoma City Thunder, if that's was in them all along, or if that is a Doug Christie thing. I like I said off the top of the show, I just am interested in the interpersonal aspects of why it's happening, and I just don't know.
Yeah, I think it's more about Doug Christie. I think whatever relationships that they had, like I said, there are certain things that maybe Doug knew about the team that maybe they didn't, and not saying they didn't feel comfortable telling Mike Brown because he's Mike Brown, just things that you maybe wouldn't tell a head coach, right? Or whatever it is. You have different relationships. If you played, you have that cool assistant coach, right? The cool assistant coach that when the other coach is yelling at you, he says, hey, don't worry about it, or, whatever it is, or they say it in a different way. That's just as important as moving on and getting things moving in the right direction. So I think a lot of it does have to do with moving on from Mike Brown, and we're realizing how stale things had become the more that comes out after they've moved on from Mike Brown. But we're also seeing how big and how important it is for the Kings to trust Doug Christie the way that they trust Doug Christie and feel comfortable with him. 916-339-1140. Phone lines going off right now. Let's talk to Rod in Modesto. Shout out Modesto. What's up, Rod? What you got for us?
Hey, guys. Well, it's interesting because when Brown was fired, I'll admit I was pretty upset about it. I didn't think it was the right move. And it's funny, Doug Christie, I love Doug Christie and his emphasis on defense and so forth. But I think it's interesting because Christie did make some changes. I mean, he did play Keon Ellis more, and Keon Ellis has gone off with the extra playing time, and it seemed like Brown had his favorites, was playing his favorites. I mean, Kevin Herter, my goodness, I still don't understand that. Even though it seems like he's been playing better with not the change of scenery, but the change in coaching staff. So I don't know what was going on. I don't know what was going on behind the scenes. We never know about that. But it seems like if you look at Brown, just from a historical perspective, it seems like wherever he's been a head coach, after on the second, third year, for whatever reason, I don't know if players stop listening or tune him out, but There's something that goes on there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks for the call, Rod. Yeah, I mean, I don't think calling him a bridge coach, that doesn't feel right, but that kind of feels like where we might be going with this, or, you know, and he helped you get to a certain, he brought stability, right? He brought stability, and now you go with somebody like a Doug Christie who may or may not have a higher ceiling. That kind of remains to be seen. I'm looking here at the Keon, and I think that's a good point. Like the practices that we talked about, practicing less, no weird doghouse stuff. I thought that was really bizarre. I got on these airwaves. I thought it was very high school-y. I really did. You know, Keon made a mistake, so now you're putting in Mason Jones. I think that's the last time I saw Mason Jones play basketball. Was literally when Mike wanted to prove a weird point with Keon. It just some bizarre things that you're just not good enough, right? You're not good enough to do stuff like that. The team isn't good enough to do stuff like that. It's just, I don't know. I would love to talk to a player about this, but I really do wonder how stuff like that was, how that type of stuff came off to players. Keon works his tail off, and he gets put in a situation, and now you're purposely benching him. You're bringing in guys that don't even play just to skip over him. Stuff like that, I would probably say is maybe even a bigger deal than the bickering, if you will, with Mike Brown. It's just, I don't know. I wouldn't have appreciated it. And I know Keon handled it. I asked Keon about this during the Super Secret Sacramento segment. And we're hoping to have a Super Secret Sacramento segment Wednesday or Thursday this week as well with one of the Sacramento Kings. So Keon talked about it. He was a grown man about it, but it didn't make any sense. Paul, we see you. Ken, we see you. Got to pay some bills. And we'll be right back. Don't move anywhere. About 3 minutes. More Allen Stiles Show coming up next.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
It's a myth to think you don't play golf well enough to get fitted for golf clubs. The professionals at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio would argue that playing the game with golf clubs properly fitted to your body and swing characteristics is the best way to improve your game and have more fun on the golf course. With a professional staff of fitters, all the major brands of equipment, and cutting-edge technology featuring TrackMan, the indoor-outdoor Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio is worth a look. See for yourself, Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway. Schedule your fitting at 916-808-2531, 808-2531.
There's a reason why more and more people are coming from all over to Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Folsom, Elk Grove, Woodland, Roseville. And it's not just because they're centrally located next to Hagen Oaks Golf Course. It's because they make the car buying experience different than anywhere else. Yeah, of course they can get you a great price. That's the easy part. Where their general manager, Chuck Dean, and his team really make a difference is they don't believe you should have to sacrifice great customer service to get a great deal. Stomp on in today and see for yourself. That's Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. It's the place where a handshake still means something.
This is Monster Jam. Witness big air, two-wheel skills, backflips, and all-out racing. It's the only place to see the world's best riders tear up the dirt in your favorite Monster Jam trucks like Gravedigger, El Toro Loco, Megalodon, and more. It's big-time fun for the whole family. Monster Jam, as big as it gets. Coming to Golden One Center January 24th through 26th. Brought to you by BKT Tires. Tickets on sale now at monsterjam.com.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Hoblit Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram Center. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
Insurance companies perform a very valuable service, but they want to keep their money. Although most cases settle before trial, it is paramount that the insurance companies know that if pressed, your legal team has the experience to take your case all the way. For 25 years, Ashton and Price has earned the reputation that if the insurance company isn't fair, we're ready to force them to be fair. My mom used to warn me, wait till dad gets home. Think of us as dad. The best part, there's no fee until we win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave coming to you from my good friends at American Energy. Look, it's already cold outside. It's only going to get colder. American Energy wants to help you stay warm and make sure your system is operating safely. So right now is the time to take advantage of the $49 tune-up inspection. Normally, $119, $49 right now, and that includes a full safety and duct inspection. And check it out. If your system's over 10 years old, and I'll bet it is, the tune-up, yeah, it's free. It's free from a company that's been in business since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ Better Business Bureau. Check their Yelp, check their Google reviews. Don't take my word for it. Give them a call right now. $50 off your first recommended repair. If you need a new furnace, half off the price of a new unit. Check them out at theaeway.com and tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now. The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Seeing a lot of comparisons to Mark Jackson with the Warriors, saying, hey, Mike Brown took us to a certain level, and now Doug Christie's going to take us over the hump, very similar to Mark Jackson and Steve Kerr. Funny enough, Mark Jackson was with the Warriors 2011 to 2014. Kind of felt like he was with them longer, but he wasn't. 2011 to 2014. So, hey, if this ends like how it ended for the Warriors, I think we'd all take that. But it is still early. It is still a bit early. Speaking of early, 7-game winning streak, right? And obviously he's got the interim tag on it. People were saying after 2 games, take the interim tag off. Obviously that's not happening. But I am curious. I mean, even let's just say the Kings get into the play-in, right? And let's say they don't get into the playoffs. I guess what I'm asking is, what is the level of play, or how bad would it have to get for Doug Christie at this point to not get the job, right? Like, is there any world where Doug Christie doesn't get this job?
I feel like the details are important here, like how they get there is important, but if they make the playoffs, if you make the playoffs, sure. That's a dramatic season turnaround for sure. So I guess in that respect, Doug would be the guy. This comes back to the De'Aaron Fox's future question. Does De'Aaron want Doug to be the coach?
Clearly, they do not care what De'Aaron thinks about any of this.
But I feel like the conversation about De'Aaron's future has to start before July, right? They can't just come to De'Aaron July 1st and be like, so do you want to sign the extension or not? You know, I don't think it has to happen as soon as the season ends, but I'm sure there has to be some conversation, some negotiation before you get to July 1st. And let's say, for example, the Kings make the first round of the playoffs, right? Season goes through April 30th. So then you've got all of May, all of June to hire a head coach. When Mike got hired, they didn't hire him until June. and that was because the Warriors were going through a finals run. But again, didn't hire Mike until June. That's enough time to be like, what do we think of, what is the direction this franchise is going?
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to be De'Aaron is never going to play another game with the Kings, or is it De'Aaron is going to be a long-term part of our future, and therefore it's going to be Doug and this core, and we'll see what they can do with a full offseason together?
Steve on the Sack Chat is saying, if Doug gets to the second round, we might be talking about Coach of the Year. I don't even know how any of that works.
Yeah, I don't think that one's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know how any of that works. Because really, it's the biggest surprise, right? That's what Coach of the Year is.
I also think Coach of the Year is already locked up at this point. If you had to go through all the awards, I think Wemby's going to be the Defensive Player of the Year, and Kenny Atkinson is going to win Coach of the Year. I think that's a good point. Pretty much locked up.
That's a good point. 916-339-1140. Let's get to Paul and Ken, who want to be part of the conversation. What's up, Paul? What you got for us?
Yeah, how you guys doing?
Good.
There's never any one answer. I think Mike Brown is a good coach, maybe a great coach. He just may not have been the right coach for this group of players. I also think that maybe some of our listeners and the fans don't give Monty McNair enough credit because they were ready to hang him out because he's not making a move.
Mm-hmm.
Monty's doing a really good job right now. What he's got going is we have four of the best two-way players on one team in the league. If you look at Keegan and Keon and De'Aaron, and you look at that and the Rook.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these guys are great two-way players. I mean, they play, nail-down defense that can defend multiple positions. And Christie might have been the perfect coach to put with that group of players.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily a knock on Mike Brown because, like I said, he gave us respectability, he gave us stability. But it might be a situation where Doug is the perfect coach to coach this group of players and take them a long way.
Thanks for the call, Paul. Yeah, as far as the Monty McNair thing, that's the reality, right? You had to, if you're Monty McNair, we all thought that the Kings should be playing better, right? We can live in a world where we feel like Monty McNair still needs to add another forward to this, at the very least, to this depth, and some people would argue another big, something like that. So you had a situation where everybody was looking bad or looking worse than they should have looked because the Kings were looking worse than they should have looked. Monty McNair, this roster isn't perfect, but this roster wasn't that bad. So Monty McNair is thinking, y'all are making me look kind of crazy because even though I still need to add to this roster, we're not this bad. We should not be worse than the San Antonio Spurs, who are having a good season, or better than what people thought, but we should not be the 12th team in the West. That this roster is not that bad, and you're making me actually look worse. So I think that deciding to go in the direction of Doug, number one, was the right choice. We had long known that I think the writing was kind of on the wall. A lot of people in that organization loved Doug Christie. Going with Doug, I think, was Monty also attempting to say, we have pieces. Yes. Do we need to get better? Yes. And we're always looking. What does he say? We're always monitoring the situation, but also we're also not this bad. And this roster is not this bad. And you're making me look really bad in front of my boss guys. So he decided to, he got it approved by Mr. Vivek. Hey, De'Aaron Fox said, Mike Brown's getting paid. He's still getting paid. And we have to try something else because this is the quickest internal change we can make. Takes two to tango. We can't just create a trade, right? But we can make a decision where it's, well, we always really liked Doug, and it seems like Mike Brown's sitting up there in press conferences saying, I'm telling them what to do. They're just not listening. So clearly the locker room is not in lockstep with each other right now. 916-339-1140. Let's get to Ken. Wants to be part of the conversation. What's up, Ken? What you got for us?
Hey, what's up, Big Styles? How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you for taking my call. So a few things. A little thunder got stolen from me when you came back from the break. I was going to equate it too. It's like, hey, Mike Brown's a great coach. Don't get any of that wrong. But there comes a point where a team stops listening if you keep bickering at them. So even on good games, right? He would come out in press conference. Oh, we got to do this. We got to do that. Well, remember the first year, the Beam team, they came out, they were flying, they were loose. They had things to learn. Yes. Don't get me wrong. But that was a great magical season. But when you implement too much change, like, oh, we got to do this, we got to do that, we got to do that. And then it's a constant bickering, like, well, yeah, we got to win, but, De'Aaron needs to do this or Monk needs to do that. It just gets old. And you play sports. I play sports, not professionally, but we played a long period of time. And there comes a time where that cool coach, and Christie just happens to be a King alum who went through the grind, uppercuts Fox like it's nothing. Like, hey, we those boys. You ain't those boys no more. And he's played the game in the trenches. And what I mean by stealing my thunder earlier, it was like the Jackson. Jackson took him as far as possible, but it took Kerr to give him over the hump.
Right.
Kerr had, great experience. He communicated differently, but I think Mike Brown tried to bring too much of Kerr's implementation of trying to educate these players instead of just letting them be a little bit looser and always working on it. Because you notice last year when they came out, I remember telling my wife, like, oh, man, this is looking good. And then after press conference, oh, we got to do this. And it just went downhill. And you can hear it in the guys. They're telling us what's up. They're telling us, look, we feel more relaxed. It's simple. Yes, keep it simple, stupid. That's all you got to do. Now, do we need to implement? But they're playing great team defense. We're not individual great defenders. So Christie has them playing as a team. He has the buy-in because he's been there before. No knock on Mike Brown. I love Mike Brown. It sucks what happened, but you know what? We were not going nowhere.
I think we lost Ken. Good stuff, though, Ken. Great stuff. We had to get to a break anyway, but great stuff, Ken. Appreciate you as always. On the other side, let's keep the convo going with Whitey Gleason. Wow, this is a quick one today. I didn't realize it was crosstalk time. Whitey Gleason joins us. Drive, guys. Allen Stiles, Sac 10 Sports.
Malik Monk plays here.
Started left, goes right, steps back, launches the three. Nothing but net. Oh, that was just filthy. Oh, my, that was sweet.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Hey, everyone. It's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
When you bundle renters and auto with Progressive, you can save while protecting your most valuable possessions, like your really expensive limited edition sneakers and your new suit for your cousin's wedding. Except you never actually bought the suit because you can't stop buying sneakers. So you show up to the wedding looking like you're going grocery shopping. But hey, at least your sneakers will look good in the pictures, until you're cropped out of every last one of them. So go ahead and get Progressive, so you can save while protecting the things that matter to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Whether you're tinkering in your garage or tackling big projects, if you know the value of working with your hands, you know Harbor Freight. And you can be confident knowing that at Harbor Freight, you can get quality tools at prices that work just as hard as you do. Because the only thing more satisfying than a job well done is a job well done, well under budget. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Maida Chevy saves you $8,000 off MSRP on new 2025 half-ton Silverado LT and RST after rebates.
Resolve to save now with $8,000 off new Silverados at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See dealer for details. Best on 2011 or newer Chevrolet.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
No cars, no weeds. Whitey Gleason joins us. Hello. Drive guys coming up in about 15 minutes. Whitey, I saw your post, the guitar one.
The guitar one.
But I have not listened yet.
Fabulous.
Okay.
It's from a song a little probably older you wouldn't recognize.
You never know.
It's an old song.
Okay. How are you feeling about the Sacramento Kings? 7 straight.
Exciting. It's fun. You know?
We were talking about this as, a lot of people still want to talk Mike Brown and how much of this is moving on for Mike Brown versus choosing to move forward with Doug Christie, right? And clearly they needed a new voice, but I think it's important that the voice they chose really seems to be the right one. Is there any, even now, I mean, things could go left, I'm sure, but is there any way this job doesn't end up going to Doug Christie?
Oh, sure there is. It's unlikely, but yeah. I mean, we don't need to talk about it, but it certainly could happen. It'd be a surprise at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I would just say this. I think a lot of people in the national media, they're going to have to walk back some things on the Kings, because when Mike Brown got fired, and I don't know about you, I didn't think they should have fired him, but you look at it now and you can see why they fired him. But a lot of people thought, oh, it's the Kings being the Kings and they don't know what they're doing. And, maybe they did know what they were doing. And DeMar DeRozan is a terrible fit. That'll never work. Oh, maybe they knew what they were doing there too.
Right. Well, at the very beginning of this, and obviously they do move on from Mike Brown, but this is the first time that the Kings have been fully healthy. So we didn't really know how long this transition was going to take with DeMar DeRozan. And DeMar DeRozan learning, okay, I got to play faster. I can't, walk down and do my pump fake. I can't do that too often because it affects the offense in other ways, even if I score. So we didn't really know how long this transition was going to take. I think I will give kudos to the Kings because they did keep things in-house pretty darn well. There are a lot of people that do cover the Kings, and there weren't really any reports about the locker room being lost. And I know that's kind of an overused term, but it does now that things came out, clearly Mike Brown's voice, besides I'm only separating De'Aaron because we know De'Aaron really liked Mike Brown, but that's just kind of a personal thing. It's clear that a new voice was needed, and they did a really good job. I mean, I didn't hear a peep about it, and that's why I think everybody was so surprised when it happened. But now when you hear the way Domantas Sabonis talks about Doug Christie and how they talk about Doug, I think it is clear that they did have to move on. There is still a small part of me that is, we talked about the new coach bounce, or if you want to call it the cool uncle or substitute teacher. There is a part of me that thinks, I guess it could be that, but the way that they just continue to roll and just kind of destroy all of the previous narratives, it makes me feel like there is a version of this. Look, they're not going to be undefeated, but there is a version of this that seems pretty darn sustainable.
The only way that we really knew that Mike Brown had lost the team before we saw the way they played without him was by listening to him, because he told us.
Yeah, that's true.
Repeatedly.
Yeah.
Like, I remember saying on the air, I don't know why he's doing that.
Yeah.
Why does he keep saying that? That's not a good thing to say when you're the coach of a team, that they don't listen to me. They won't do what I tell them.
I think he was trying to cover himself and let it be known that he was saying the right things. When people are wondering, why don't they defend the three? He's saying, well, we've talked about defending the three better. They're just not doing it. But then okay, well, last time I checked, if a team isn't listening to you, you've probably lost the locker room.
Yeah. The big thing, too, to me is the talk of how they don't practice as much, and the players are responding to that. And,
I think that we're going to learn a lot throughout the rest of this season, but I mean, it's just nice to be the vibes just being better and just winning basketball games. I was so grateful that the Kings won yesterday because I really didn't want to deal with the De'Aaron comes back and they lose. I would just really, really didn't want to deal with that. The Bucks tomorrow night, they're the 6th seed, so they're in the East. They've had a weird season, but you definitely can't sneeze at what they can do and what Giannis can do. So we'll see what happens. I know you have plenty of Kings talk to get into with Mr. Kyle Draper. NFL playoffs. We spent a little bit of time on that. A lot of these expensive quarterbacks didn't really do anything. I don't know what to do with Jordan Love.
Not great games this weekend, Allen.
No, but nobody talks about it. I've been saying this, Whitey, when people want to dunk on the NBA, no pun intended, a lot of times those people just inherently like football better. So you know what I love to say, two things can be true. I do think that the NBA has to figure out what they're going to do post LeBron, post Steph. And the All-Star thing, I don't know what you do with the All-Star. They don't want to play. They don't want to play. Just do the Pro Bowl. Just don't have a game. Whatever. So there's that part of it where they can be better. But then the other part of it is a lot of people that dunk. Nobody will say anything about the NFL games this weekend because it was playoff football. But it was not good football.
No, it's pretty boring, other than last night.
Yes.
And for me, the Chargers getting embarrassed, always fun. That was the greatest moment of the weekend. Always enjoy that.
There you go. The Commanders, Jaden Daniels. Where were you at on Jaden Daniels? I can't remember. Coming into the league. Yeah. Were you a Jaden Daniels guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I really can't say one way or the other, but
yeah. I didn't see it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought he was not, obviously he's not short, but I thought the way he ran, and look, this is what's funny about the Jaden Daniels thing, because we're all acknowledging we just did this with CJ Stroud, but now we're doing it with Jaden Daniels. And I'm just saying the collective we. We've seen these freshman seasons, there's no tape out on you, and you light the world on fire, and we do it every single time. And we're doing it again with Jaden Daniels. He's a top 7 guy right now. Blah blah blah.
We do it every single time. I think it's pretty rare that guys play that well.
But we did it with CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud does not look the same this season. I know his guys went down, but we did it with CJ Stroud. We
do it every time.
We do it every time. Every time there's a guy.
Mitchell Trubisky.
No,
I'm making fun of you. We don't do this.
No,
every
we don't.
time.
No, but we do.
Guys don't play well
Cam
enough,
Newton,
typically.
RG3.
Cam Newton won an MVP.
Andrew Luck. We do this all the time.
Andrew Luck made 4 Pro Bowls.
We do this all the time.
But you're listing great quarterbacks, except RG3.
Oh, that Peyton Manning. Yeah.
Well, he didn't have a good season, so he didn't have to do it. Whitey, come on. You know we do this every time.
I disagree with you. You say we do it every time. We don't have that many opportunities to do it, which is the whole point for a first-year player. First year, as they say in Harry
I'm forgetting
Potter, right?
someone. Help me out, chat.
Justin Herbert. Who, again, is a great quarterback.
I don't know about great.
He's a very gifted passer.
Yeah, he's got an arm talent.
What do you mean? He's so good.
They're at home.
I know it's a bad day to say that, but he's so good.
They're at home, Whitey. They're at home. So I know that you understand that we do this every time. And this is where
don't get that many opportunities to do it. I went against my instincts. I said before the season started that Richardson was going to have a breakout year this year. And I didn't think they should have drafted him when they did. And I should have stuck with that, obviously.
Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
We don't do this every time with Anthony Richardson because he's just not. He's just not it. What do you and
I didn't say that I didn't think Caleb Williams was going to be great this year.
You said you didn't think he was.
Yes, because he holds on to the ball so long. But he's, there's a lot of promise there.
It's really weird, the Caleb Williams thing, when you were watching and the whole season was obviously cooked for the Bears. There were just sometimes but somehow they had a bunch of primetime games, it felt like, to end the season. There were just a bunch of times where Caleb Williams, it almost felt like he would rather take the sack, then
he holds the ball a long time.
But I was trying to figure out, is he doing this on purpose? Because I remember there was something with Shador a couple years ago where it was, it was something where he took sacks because he didn't want to mess up his completion percentage,
Sure,
or something
you don't
like
throw
that,
a pick or something like that.
But that's crazy though. That's what it felt like watching Caleb Williams. That's what it felt
It's
like.
not that uncommon for a quarterback to hang on to the ball too long.
But is he doing it because I'd rather take a sack?
Who knows? Who knows? It's all part of it.
Yeah.
But we do this every time.
We do this every time, and we're doing it again. We did it with C.J. Stroud. Now we're doing it with Jaden Daniels. Every single time. Tua.
I don't think we did.
Tua with Tyreek. We do this at Brock Purdy. We do this every single time. Well, you know what we are going to do right now?
No, what?
Drive Guys.
Yeah.
Whitey Gleason, Kyle Draper, Jay Johnson. Thank you for listening to the Allen Stiles Show. Thank you to all the callers, texters, sack chatters. Thank you to
that
Kyle.
guy right there. Yeah.
I was getting there. Hopefully we get a good game tonight, and we can do this again.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Short show for us today because of football. Oh, well.
And it's NFL. That's why.
Yeah.
What other football would there be?
Every time.
There's only one other football game left in college, and it's not tonight.
It's not tonight. Oh, yeah, college football playoff. You watch?
Yeah, I've been watching.
That is so funny. Ohio State and Texas was such an excellent game, and it was probably for the championship. And this is the first time we're mentioning it on the show. Like the first
Kings,
time,
baby.
But like that
game. Yeah,
that
7
game was
game.
so good.
7-game winning streak.
I know, but you
Smelling salts.
Notre Dame, Penn State was better.
Why do you ever do smelling salts?
No, I haven't.
Would you?
For money, maybe. I don't, you know.
We're all doing it on the show.
Win.
Who is this we?
I know the morning show's doing it. And they asked if I wanted to do it.
Okay.
So now I'm bringing you in.
You know, you don't have to do what all the cool kids say they're doing.
I've already done it before. So I'll do it again.
They need it. And when I work mornings, yes, I probably should have done it.
Whitey Gleason, Kyle Draper, Jay Johnson, Allen Stiles Show. Until tomorrow, thank you for listening. Secure the bag. Like the beam.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment